Chapter 86. Crazy. This group of people had completely lost their minds. This was what all the warriors under the Ring of Heaven and Earth were thinking. They had completely disregarded the rules of the Ring of Heaven and Earth and turned from a challenge into a group battle. Looking at the two sides fighting in a row on the viewing platform, everyone had mixed feelings. On the viewing platform, Hiyuani's disciples from the Divine Star Clan and Hiyuanjuan's disciples from the Heartless Clan were fighting. In a short amount of time, it was hard to tell who had the upper hand. Hiyuanjun and Hiyuani sat on their big chairs. Their gazes met and sparks flew in the air. Both of their gazes looked like they were about to devour each other, as if they wanted to swallow each other alive. The corner of Hiyuani's mouth curled into a sneer as he retracted his gaze. The group of martial artists behind him were all genius disciples of the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect. The foundation and strength of the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect was not something the Heartless Sect could compare with. With 100 moves, no, 50 moves, Hiyuani believed that his subordinates could completely suppress the Heartless Clan's disciples. What? At this moment, Hiyuanjun let out a scream. Hiyuani was stunned and saw Hiyuanjun staring at the Ring of Heaven and Earth, dumbfounded. The group of young masters all shifted their gazes to the Ring of Heaven and Earth. Ha! Tang Ao let out a deep roar. Spiritual chi continuously poured into his legs. Mystic Valley Kick. Tang Ao's ghost-like body sped up again. He kicked out 9 times in an instant. It was as if he had 9 clones in an instant, and they landed on the 9 figures. Puff! The 9 Heartless Martial School disciples all felt a huge force coming at them. They were kicked away like kites with broken strings. 9 streams of blood streaked across the sky in an eye-catching arc. It was the blood mist that the 9 Heartless Martial School disciples had spat out. It was you. Hiyuanjuan's eyes immediately reddened. When his underlings ambushed Ada just now, it was Tang Ao's handiwork, causing Zhou Ji to leave the stage with heavy injuries. Now, this Tang Ao actually dared to come onto the stage and injure his underlings. Hiyuanjun immediately flew into a rage. With a wave of his hand, a middle-aged man beside him moved, turning into a blur and flying towards where Tang Ao was. That middle-aged person was the only Origin Realm expert sent by the Heartless School. He was a vice-elder of the Duty Hall, and he had the cultivation of the 3rd level of the Origin Realm. From this, it could be seen that although the Heartless Sect was ranked at the bottom of the Eastern region, they had put in a lot of effort to fight for the position of City Lord of Water Pearl City. Lei Liang had long since been dumbstruck, his eyeballs almost popping out. He could only feel that the person beside him had suddenly disappeared. When he found the person again, the person had already jumped onto the stage and injured 9 disciples of the Heartless Martial School in an instant. Who is this person? Looking at his clothing, he seems to be a disciple of the 7 Kill School. Lei Liang's heart went cold. Just now, when Tang Ao asked some questions about Water Pearl City, he was like a senior giving him pointers. Now, the strength that Tang Ao displayed made Lei Liang's forehead drenched in cold sweat. He had actually given pointers to a powerful person from the 7 Kill School for so long. In the sky above the Universe Ring, after Tang Ao instantly sent the 9 Heartless Sect disciples flying, his face went dry and he loudly shouted, "The young ones are useless. Should I replace them with the old ones?" Tang Ao was also cursing in his heart. The person who was flying towards him had the strength of the 3rd level of the Origin Realm. He already had the ability to fly in the air. The 9 disciples of the Heartless Sect, who were sent flying by him, had all jumped onto the stage. This middle-aged man's figure, however, flew. Aqua Sunflower Seal. The middle-aged man from the Heartless Sect shouted loudly. He condensed a hand seal and a mysterious aura condensed around him like a spiral. Faint wrinkles appeared in the surrounding space. It was a type of comprehension the Origin Realm had towards the world. The middle-aged man's first attack was a killing attack. 100 Battle Spear Soul, Spear of Slaughter. Tang Ao's eyes turned cold. After gauging the power of the middle-aged man's attack, he decided to use the 100 battle spear soul that had reached the peak of compatibility. Also, Tang Ao did not dare to underestimate it. After all, the middle-aged man was a true Origin Realm cultivator. Asterisk boom. Asterisk a huge explosion rang out. The 100 battle spear soul's spear that was filled with the aura of slaughter collided with the seal and made a shocking explosion. A strong wind spread out from where the two of them fought. The cultivators below the universe ring all felt the strong wind attack them. A group of low-level cultivators even took 2 steps back. Everyone covered their faces with their sleeves. After the strong wind disappeared, they quickly moved their sleeves away and concentrated on what was going to happen on the stage. Asterisk thud thud asterisk 2 clear sounds rang out. Tang Ao fell onto the universe ring as if he was 1,000 pounds. 2 3-inch deep footprints appeared on the ground under Tang Ao's feet. Tang Ao raised his head and his face changed. You have the nerve to attack a second time? In the air, the middle-aged man from the Heartless sect trembled, and he condensed 4 fate spirits. The 4 fate spirits floated above his head, and there was a feeling of looking down on everyone and looking down on the entire place. Everyone below the stage was stunned, but they quickly reacted. Too shameless. You're already 70 or 80 years old, and you have the nerve to attack a junior a second time. Do the elders of the Heartless sect bully the weak like this? What a pretentious name like the Heartless sect. You might as well change your name to the Shameless sect. The middle-aged elder's face turned red. He was clearly in his 40s, but he was said to be an old man in his 70s or 80s. Facing the ridicule and abuse from the audience, the middle-aged elder couldn't help but hesitate, and he awkwardly withdrew the strongest attack he had condensed. Ping! Hurry up and come here! He Yuanjun let out a loud yell at this moment. Her voice was filled with anxiety. Ping was the middle-aged man. He was slightly stunned and turned around, but he saw the disciples of the Heartless sect being beaten back by the disciples of the Celestial Star Sacred sect. The disciples of the Heartless sect were not as strong as the disciples of the Celestial Star Sacred sect under Hiyuani's command. Moreover, they had sent 9 elites to kill Ada. The disciples of the Heartless sect were quickly beaten back by the disciples of the Celestial Star Sacred sect. Stop! Ping let out an angry roar. He moved his body and flew to the center of the battlefield in an instant. In just 15 minutes, the window frames and beams on the viewing platform had been broken into pieces because of the fight between the disciples. The crowd that was standing in a straight line immediately scattered, giving the disciples of the Heartless sect and the disciples of the Celestial Star Sacred sect enough space to fight. Yuanjuan's face turned green from the beating. He finally understood how powerful the second-ranked sect in the East region was. They could be distinguished by the quality of their disciples. Chapter 87. Stop! How dare you injure a disciple of the Heartless school in front of me? Are you looking to die? Ping jumped into the battlefield and asked aggressively. The enormous aura of the Origin Realm immediately pressured the disciples of the sacred Heavenly Star clan. Everyone revealed expressions of dread. How dare you? You, an old man, are bullying the younger generation of the sacred Heavenly Star clan. Do you think there are no elders in the sacred Heavenly Star clan? Hiyuani coldly replied. The sacred Heavenly Star clan was the second-ranked clan in the eastern region. In Hiyuani's eyes, the 11th-ranked Heartless school was not even worth mentioning. From Hiyuani's point of view, it was already against the rules for Heartless sect to send out an elder. It was the norm for the sect to send out disciples to train and assist the forces in the secular world to obtain resources. What was with sending out an elder who was 40 or 50 years old? After hearing Hiyuani's yell, strangely, Ping did not say anything else. He knew it was against the rules for him to go down to the mortal world, but assisting Hiyuanjun was a death order from the clan. The Heartless School was determined to win the City Lord of Water Pearl City. They did not even care about losing some face. They were willing to use any means necessary. As long as they could obtain the resources that Water Pearl City paid as tribute every year, all of that would not be a problem. Seeing that the disciples of the sacred Heavenly Star clan stopped because of him, Huaping did not do anything else. He sullenly endured Yuan's yell. After a huge conflict, what replaced it was relative peace. Everyone below the stage was as quiet as cicadas in winter, waiting for the next development. Yuanjun also sat where he was with a twisted face. This time, he could not make a fuss anymore. His plan of getting a badge from Lin, the pushover, was completely gone. Looking around, Yuanjun's expression became even darker. The disciples of the Heartless clan under her command were all injured. Although there were no deaths or injuries, light or heavy injuries were unavoidable, especially her capable General Zhou Ji. His tendons and veins were close to shattering after Ah Da's blade qi entered his body. Even if he did not die, he would definitely suffer from a chronic disease. In the end, Yuanjun's gaze landed on Tang Ao. It was that person who messed up his entire plan. It was this person who caused him to lose the opportunity to obtain the token. However, Tang Ao's strength also made Yuanjun endlessly fearful. He could forcefully take an attack from Huaping, who was at the third level of the Origin Realm, and not be at a disadvantage. In an instant, he kicked away 9 elite disciples from the Heartless School. How could Huaping not be fearful of that skill? What kind of place is this universe ring? Who are you? Why are you here to cause trouble? Huaping stopped arguing with Yuan and pointed his gun at Tang Ao. What a joke. Let's find out who's causing trouble, okay? The two of them were sparring one-on-one. As soon as you saw that you couldn't defeat them, you sneak attacked them and ganged up on them. We all saw it clearly. Tang Ao sneered, and he was not afraid at all because they were Origin Realm experts. Yeah. An old man in his 40s following his master to bully a child who hasn't even reached adulthood yet. How heartless. Old man, hurry up and come down. Don't embarrass yourself on the stage anymore. Old man, piss off. Just as Tang Ao finished speaking, the other martial artists below the universe ring resonated with him. In an instant, earth-shaking curses rang out. Huaping's face suddenly reddened. He was only 40 years old and he was called an old man again. It was no wonder. Since the ancient times, the resources of the cities were fought over by the disciples of the big sections. The number of times where elders appeared was extremely rare. The young martial artists had their own young martial artists circles. Huaping forcefully squeezed his way in, so it would be strange if he didn't suffer. A country has its laws and a family has its rules. The fight for the universe ring is the He family's internal family matter. You are an outsider. What right do you have to interfere? You aren't any young master's retainer, nor are you a member of the He family. What right do you have to interfere? Huaping said with a flushed face. Although he was being condemned by thousands of people, for the sake of the mission given to him by his sect, he had no choice but to continue speaking. I am a disciple of the 7 Kills sect. This time, I came down from the mountain to gain experience. When I passed by Waterbead City, I saw such a heartless scene. An elder brother bullying a weak younger brother, an elder disregarding his seniority and attacking a junior, and now, you, an old man, actually want to teach me a lesson. How ridiculous! Tang Ao said sarcastically. His eyes were filled with contempt as he looked at Huaping. 7 Kills sect? The people below the stage were shocked. The 7 Kills sect was the third-ranked sect in the Eastern Domain. They had a vast influence and many experts under their banner. Every disciple under their banner was an elite. The people below the stage were also shocked. You are a disciple of the 7 Kills sect? Huaping looked at the clothes that Tang Ao was wearing in a daze. He really was a disciple of the 7 Kills sect. He Yuanjuan's face turned even paler. This Tang Ao was a disciple of the Seven Kills sect. Therefore, He Yuanjun did not dare to do anything to him anymore. A playful expression appeared on He Yuan's face. He looked like he was watching a good show. This Tang Ao was a disciple of the Seven Kills sect. Moreover, he was going against He Yuanjun, whom he had the worst relationship with. He Yuan's mood suddenly became very good, and he felt the pleasure of revenge. That's right. I will never change my name or my surname. I am the disciple of the Seven Kills sect, Tang Ao. Tang Ao waved his robe. His elegance made the eyes of all the female disciples below the stage brighten. He Lin's eyes turned red. He did not expect that there would be a powerful expert helping him at this moment. Moreover, it was a disciple of the Seven Kills sect, which was ranked third in the Eastern domain. Although He Yuan was helping He Lin on the surface, in reality, he only wanted the token in He Lin's hand. He Lin was very clear that He Yuan commanded the disciples of the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect to fight against the disciples of the Heartless Sect. It was just to show off his powerful background in front of everyone. Among everyone present, only Tang Ao dared to stand out. He Lin was very grateful. Only this Tang Ao was truly helping him. In fact, He Lin was not wrong. Tang Ao really wanted to help He Lin. However, He Lin did not know Tang Ao's purpose. Tang Ao's purpose was to support He Lin and make the entire Water Pearl City a vassal force of the Seven Kills sect. From there, he would receive a large amount of resources from the Water Pearl City. The Water Pearl City had been without a ruler for many years because the city lord, He Fengyuan, was an extremely capable administrator. He only respected the imperial court. Although he had to hand over a certain amount of resources to the imperial court every year, these resources were just a drop in the ocean compared to the resources that the Water Pearl City produced every year. On the contrary, He Fengyuan had married many women from the Eastern Domain's powerful forces. He had used all kinds of resources to make the Water Pearl City grow stronger. However, now that He Fengyuan's lifespan was coming to an end, the Water Pearl City had become a hot commodity that all the powerful forces were fighting over. Chapter 88. 13th Young Master, may I ask if your subordinate, Zhou, has lost a young master He Lin's subordinate, so should he hand over his token to young master He Lin? Tang Ao narrowed his eyes and asked the question that everyone was most concerned about. You! He Yuanjuan's eyes almost popped out of their socket. She was so angry at Tang Ao that she almost spat out blood. You saved people, and it's not enough? You still dare to ask me for my token? All the young master's expressions became very strange. According to the rules, Ada defeated Zhou, so He Yuanjun should hand over her token. But who was He Lin? Other than the young mistress of the He clan, among the 17 young masters, there was only one whose mother was not from a powerful clan. All the young masters present, including the young mistresses who could not fight for the position of the city leader because of their gender, had mothers from powerful clans. 17th young master He Lin's mother was a servant girl, so he was at a disadvantage in the fight for the position of the city leader. In everyone's eyes, He Lin was an existence that was not noticed at all. Basically, in everyone's eyes, He Lin was not a threat at all. However, the reality was that He Lin's subordinate, Ada, suddenly showed off his prowess. He used an extraordinary and saintly basic blade skill to defeat He Yuanjuan's general, Zhou. This made He Yuanjun suffer. The rule of the Ring of Heaven and Earth was to send out their elites to compete. Whoever won had to hand over their token. 13th brother, the competition is over. Shouldn't you hand over your token to 17th brother? He Yuan was the first to speak. He was really angry with He Yuanjun. His celestial divine clan disciples had already fought with the heartless clan's disciples. It was impossible that he wasn't angry. He Yuan, don't go too far. He Yuanjun was so angry that he laughed. He gave his token to He Lin. Even if he gave it to He Lin probably wouldn't dare to accept it. He Yuan's words were just to provoke him. He Yuan sneered and turned his head away. He did not speak anymore, but the smile on his face was so wide that everyone below the ring of heaven and earth could see it clearly. Your subordinate lost and you still won't hand over your token? Then what are the rules of the ring of heaven and earth? What's the point of Father letting our subordinates compete in the universe ring? At this moment, He Yuanchao also spoke. Currently, the disciples of the Heartless sect under He Yuan's banner were all injured. Although the disciples of the Heavenly Star Sacred sect were strong, they were more or less injured. If He Yuanjun really gave the token in her hand to He Lin, then there would be one less person from the four great forces of Waterdrop City. That would reduce He Yuanchao's chances of winning to 1 in 3. So now that He Yuanchao saw He Yuan and He Yuanjun arguing with each other, he was overjoyed. After all, with one less competitor, his chances of winning the city lord position would be higher. The other heirs with slightly lower backgrounds all had different expressions on their faces. They had never thought that He Lin would actually dare to resist. Ada's counterattack was also an accident. No one would have thought that a servant who did not know high-level martial arts techniques could actually defeat a powerful cultivator from the Heartless sect. That extraordinary basic blade technique had also blinded everyone. These heirs were all quietly waiting for the situation to change. They would use He Lin's final outcome as a reference. If He Lin did not have a good outcome after handing over the token, then they would not easily hand over the token in their hands. However, facing such an awkward situation, He Lin spoke at the right time. My younger brother is untalented. I was lucky enough to obtain a victory. It was purely an accident. My younger brother doesn't want this token. I only want to protect what belongs to me. I don't dare to think about seizing the position of the city lord. He Lin's tone was neither servile nor overbearing, but it made people feel a sense of humility. At least you know what's good for you, kid. He Yuanjuan's expression softened a little. Today, he had lost all his face in the heaven and earth ring. If He Lin really dared to accept the token in his hand, He Yuanjun would probably completely lose his mind tonight and immediately send people to assassinate He Lin. However, after all these twists and turns, He Yuanjun also calmed down a little. He also realized the power that He Yuan and the other two young masters had in their hand. The power of He Yuan's celestial sacred clan made He Yuanjun feel like he had been slapped in the face, letting He Yuanjun know that Waterdrop City did not belong to him alone. The ninth young master, He Yuanchao, was also extremely powerful in this battle. The Heavenly Moon sect, which was ranked 9th in the eastern region, was very powerful. Although it was not as powerful as He Yuan's celestial sacred clan, it was not afraid of the Heartless sect behind He Yuanjun. The eldest young master, He Yuanza, naturally did not need to be mentioned. Although his mother was from the Su clan of Ming City, and his background was slightly weaker than the others, He Yuanza had accumulated a lot in Waterdrop City over the years. The warriors standing next to him were also the most among all the heirs, so he was definitely the most powerful among all the heirs. Today's matter ends here. I hope young Master He Yuanjun knows what to do. Tang Ao left these words coldly. He was not afraid of He Yuanjuan's anger at all. After leaving these words, his body was like the wind, and he disappeared from everyone's sight after a few floats. Humph! He Yuanjun snorted coldly. With a gaze that looked like he was going to devour someone, he watched Tang Ao leave. If it were not for Tang Ao, how could his subordinate, Zhou Ji, lose to Ada? In fact, He Yuanjun really blamed Zhou Ji wrongly. Although Ada could practice a basic blade skill to the level of divine transcendence, Zhou Ji also gradually stood firm with a high-level sword skill after dozens of moves. As long as Zhou Ji was given some time, he would definitely be able to defeat Ada. But who knew that when he was about to counterattack, He Yuan-jun could not hold it in and sent a warrior to sneak attack Ada. Zhou Ji had to cooperate and condense the strongest attack. He used up all his Zhen Yuan to fight against Ada. In the end, Tang Ao suddenly kicked a stone and sent the sneak attacker flying, causing the sneak attack to fail. Ada's life spirit was also stronger than Zhou Ji's. In the end, Zhou Ji could only sullenly fail. After Tang Ao left, the universe ring naturally came to an end. After He Yuan's disciples from the Celestial Star Sacred Sect and He Yuanjuan's disciples from the Heartless Sect fought, the universe ring naturally could not continue. They had already fought the team battle, so how could they fight one-on-one? The City Lord's mansion sent an order for all the young masters to go back and rest. The universe ring still needed to be reformulated. The warriors who came to watch also felt that it was lively enough this time. Seeing He Yuan and He Yuan-jun fall out with each other, they were very satisfied. This kind of battle was usually very rare. When passing by He Lin, He Yuanza gave He Lin a secretive smile, which made He Lin slightly stunned. Chapter 89. The Young Masters Dispersed. After today's farce, the ranking of the young masters should be re-evaluated. The eldest young master, He Yuanza, was still in the highest position. As the oldest, his accumulation over the years was enough for him to look down on all of his descendants. The 11th young master, He Yuan, had the strongest backing. He had the Celestial Sacred Clan, which was ranked number 2 in the eastern region. After the battle with He Yuan-jun, everyone started to re-evaluate him. He Yuan's underlings had completely crushed He Yuan-jun's underlings in the group battle. He Yuan-jun's underlings were all injured. If it were not for Elder Huaping, the situation would have been even worse. The 9th young master, He Yuanchao, was quite slick in handling things. In this battle, He Yuanchao had appropriately sowed discord. After he succeeded, he had successfully retreated. This not only weakened He Yuanjuan's power, but also indirectly pinched He Yuan's arrogance. The 13th young master, He Yuanjuan's performance in the heaven and earth arena was terrible. He originally wanted to use the Heartless Clan's power to show off in the heaven and earth arena and expand his influence in the Dewdrop City. However, in the end, he failed. Not only did he not make a name for himself, but his underlings were also injured. In a short period of time, He Yuan-jun would not be able to make any wave. There were a total of 17 young masters in the Dewdrop City. These 4 young masters were the most competitive ones. The rest of the young masters, such as He Yuanzhang, who was defeated by He Yuanza, had weaker maternal backgrounds. Even if they still wanted the position of the city master, they did not have the strength to do so. Now, other than the so-called 4 great young masters, the rest of the young masters were thinking about who they should entrust the token in their hands to. Today, everyone saw how He Yuan-jun forced He Lin to abdicate the throne. This was also a signal for them to make a decision as soon as possible. However, no one could predict who would be the master of the city in the end. Hence, these young masters with weak power were very hesitant. They only hoped that they could entrust the token to someone who could fight for the position of the master of the city, so that they could live the rest of their lives in luxury and enjoy the rest of their lives in peace. These weak young masters and ladies were all hesitating on which side to choose. They were thinking about who they should give their tokens to, except for one person. That person was He Lin. He Lin's mansion was in the western suburbs of the Dewdrop City. The mansion was huge, but the interior decoration was very simple. He Lin was the most ordinary one among the concubines, born from He Feng Yuan and a servant girl after drinking. Therefore, his mother's power was very weak. Growing from a young, he did not have any resources. Therefore, He Lin knew the principle of living frugally and keeping a low profile. However, He Lin was He Feng Yuan's real son after all, so the mansion was still much more spacious than many ordinary families. It had a black lacquered door with a silver ring, a cobblestone path, and a gray wall with mottled plum blossoms inside the door. The simplicity revealed the owner's love for cleanliness. The mansion's house. Along, master. He lins. Yun he I master I 1. Master, don't be impulsive. If it wasn't for Tang Ao's help, we wouldn't have escaped so easily. Ding Bo, prepare a small gift. Bring Chun Hua and Chun Tao to that young master and thank him, He Lin sighed. He was touched when he thought of Tang Ao's bravery and righteousness. Ada, don't be impulsive. If it wasn't for that young master Tang Ao helping us today, we wouldn't have been able to escape so easily. Uncle Ding, prepare a small gift and bring Chun Hua and Chun Tao to that young master to thank him. He Lin sighed. He couldn't help but feel moved when he thought of Tang Ao's righteous actions today. Young master, today, Origin June, he really went too far. However, we can't just sit and wait for death. Luckily, young master was calm enough today and didn't take Origin June he's token. Otherwise, I'm afraid he would have ordered his underlings to do something in the dark, Uncle Ding said faintly. Ding Bo, what do you think? He Lin asked softly. I suggest that we recruit that young Master Tang as our subordinate, and then fight for the position of City Lord. Ding Bo gritted his teeth, and his aged body released an extremely strong will of struggle. This, He Lin was shocked. As a man whose mother didn't have any background, he didn't think much about the battle for the position of Castellan. Master Tang has an extraordinary bearing. He comes from the Seven Kills sect, which is ranked third in the East Domain. If we can recruit him to fight for the position of Castellan, we'll definitely get extraordinary results, Yunda said timely. He Lin's actions today made them understand one thing. In this world, even if you don't cause trouble, there will be people who will. It's pure nonsense that flies don't bite a seamless egg. That's right. Master, you've seen what happened today. Our branch has always been doing things in a low-profile manner, and we didn't fight for the position of Castellan. Yet, we were provoked again and again by He Lin's side. The other masters all looked on with cold eyes, and some even threw stones at us when we were down. We might as well go all the way and recruit Master Tang to take revenge. Ding Bo said with righteous indignation. He was a genuine Origin Realm cultivator. When he was young, he was recruited to Waterdrop City. He had always been by He Fengyuan's side, always at his beck and call. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? This. Ding Bo, I, He Lin, am not a coward. At first, I only wanted to protect my own token and protect the thing that I should have. But now I'm being coveted again and again. I want to fight back, but I'm afraid that Master Tang's eyes are too high. This small temple of mine can't hold such a great Buddha like him. He Lin slowly spoke out his thoughts in his heart. His words at the end were a bit discouraged. How would we know if we don't try? Ada said with a bit of excitement. That's right, Master. How would we know if we don't try? Ding Bo also said with excitement. This. Alright, go and prepare a small gift. At the very least, I have to go and thank him personally. Find out where young Master Tang is as soon as possible, in case he leaves Waterpearl City. He Lin nodded his head, agreeing to the two's suggestion. In an inn in Water Droplet City, Tang Ao sat cross-legged with his eyes closed. After the battle just now, Tang Ao only felt that the true origin in his body was abnormally active. An appropriate battle was very beneficial to cultivation. After this battle, the true origin and potential of his body were stimulated. That afternoon, the true origin in Tang Ao's body broke out of his body and adhered to the skin of his body to refine his flesh. That night, Tang Ao's iron steel sand broke through to the profound realm. Because of these few days of hurrying on the road, the mysterious valley legs also broke through to the profound realm. His true origin flowed inside and outside his body and condensed. On the contrary, the ice crystal sword and ancient spirit finger that Lin Jiang gave him progressed very slowly. With a ka sound, the last acupuncture point finally melted under the nourishment of the true origin. Tang Ao opened his eyes. At this moment, he broke through the 7th level of the body refining realm and reached the 8th level. Chapter 90. The iron steel sand was divided into 12 levels. At that moment, Tang Ao had cultivated it to the 6th level. Iron steel sand 6th level. Activate the iron steel sand body to shatter the enemy's sword, spear, and stick. Condense the Zhen formula. Iron steel sand 9th level. When activated, the iron steel sand will cover the entire body. It will be difficult for those under the origin realm to be injured when fighting barehanded. Iron steel sand 12th level. The body will be like an iron wall. Even if you burn it with true fire, it will be difficult to refine it. From the 6th level onwards, an attack method would appear in the iron steel sand. It was called the Zhen formula. As the name suggested, when the opponent's attack landed on Tang Ao's body, there would be a recoil. The recoil of the recoil would injure the opponent. The breakthrough this time was beneficial to the great battle on the universe ring. Tang Ao cultivated for a day and a night. After he felt that he had gained a lot, he officially came out. The so-called officially came out was actually as simple as opening his eyes. At that moment, Tang Ao was in the tavern. Also, Tang Ao didn't like sloppy etiquette. As the saying goes, all living things are complicated, but the way is simple. After Tang Ao poured a cup of tea, there was a knock on the door. "Who is it?" Tang Ao sipped the tea and said indifferently. "I am He Lin. I have come to thank you," He Lin's gentle voice rang out. Tang Ao put down the teacup. He squinted his eyes and a hint of light shot out. He finally came. Tang Ao's heart was on the mission. He Lin came at the right time. "Come in." Tang Ao glanced and the door opened. At that moment, in He Yuanjuan's residence. He Yuanjuan's residence was located in the eastern suburbs of Water Pearl City. There were many servants in the residence. Compared to He Lin's residence, just the number of servants showed that He Yuanjuan's resources were many times more than He Lin's. The pavilions, terraces, and buildings were extraordinary. If one looked down from the sky, one could see that the lines of the flat roads were complicated. A manservant passed through the complicated path. His pace was hurried. It was obvious that he had an urgent matter to see He Yuanjun. "Young master, that He Lin went to find that Tang Ao," the manservant said respectfully. His face was covered in cold sweat. Bang! The teacup in He Yuanjuan's hand broke into pieces. "Why is this kid looking for him? Do you want to rebel?" Cough cough. Zhou coughed as he walked out and said, "Young master, He Lin must have ulterior motives when he went to look for Tang Ao. Young master, you can't just watch as he colludes with Tang Ao. Do I need you to teach me that? Trash." He Yuanjun glared at Zhou. Her heart was full of contempt for Zhou. Zhou was the elite of the elites sent by the Heartless clan. He was said to be omnipotent by the Heartless clan, but who knew that he could not even win against a useless young master's servant? What did He Yuanjun think? Ever since Zhou lost to Ada that day, Zhou's status had plummeted. Zhou also felt bitter in his heart. The details of the fight with Ada that day were clear to Zhou. He had used his high-level sword art to stabilize his position. He only needed a few dozen moves to turn defeat into victory and take down Ada. Young master, that Ada only used his extraordinary and divine basic sword art to temporarily suppress me. It was just a flash in the pan. With my high-level sword art I can, enough. Wha? The broken pieces of the teacup all fell on the ground in front of Zhou. He Yuanjun said angrily, "You trash. A loss is a loss. Why are you looking for so many excuses?" Zhou hurriedly lowered his head and thought to himself, "It's all your fault. Otherwise, things wouldn't have turned out like this." If He Lin didn't know his limits, your token would have been taken away by a good-for-nothing young master. Zhou Ji was one of the top geniuses in the Heartless School. Although he was a bit old, as long as he broke into the Origin Realm, he could become an elder in the Heartless School. Right now, because of the school's order, he had to lower his voice to He Yuanjun. Zhou Ji had a stomach full of grievances and a stomach full of anger. Hua Ping saw that Zhou Ji could not hold it in any more and he spoke, "Young master, He Lin and Tang Ao must have some ulterior motives for meeting. We cannot just watch as Tang Ao and He Lin come into contact. We must stop them." He Yuanjun took a deep breath and calmed the agitation in his heart. After all, Hua Ping was an elder in the Heartless School. He had to give him some face. "Elder Hua, if I may ask, what do you think?" He Yuanjun coldly said. There was no emotion in her tone. Pinching again. Elder Hua frowned. Although he did not take down Tang Ao, if he didn't make a move, the Heartless School's disciples would have been killed by He Yuanjun because of the conflict with the Celestial Sacred School's disciples. He Yuanjun must have eaten a bear's heart and a leopard's guts. He even dared to pinch an elder. If He Yuanjun's mother wasn't his senior in the same generation, Elder Hua really wanted to slap He Yuanjun to let him know his limits. But at the end, Elder Hua only frowned. After all, the fight for the position of the Lord of the City was the most important thing. "I'm afraid we cannot keep Tang Ao, the disciple from the 7 Kills School. If he truly belongs to He Lin, I'm afraid there will be another wave of trouble. From what I see, why not just kill Tang Ao right away to avoid more trouble? First, we've already offended He Lin. If He Lin gains power, he will definitely take revenge on us. Second, that day, Tang Ao ruined young master's prestige. If we don't take revenge appropriately, I'm afraid no one in the city will respect young master anymore." He Yuanjun was so frightened that she broke out in a cold sweat. She exclaimed, "Are you crazy? You want me to kill a disciple from the 7 Kills School? This trash who only eats soft and fears hard." Hua Ping sneered in his heart, but on the surface, he still cupped his hands respectfully and said, "Young master, junior nephew Zhou Ji is right. Even if we don't kill that Tang Ao, we should at least give him an appropriate blow. Otherwise, who in the city will respect young master in the future?" He Yuanjun clenched his teeth. The world was big, but his face was the most important. He decided. "All right, bring someone there immediately." He Yuanjun pointed at the servant who had been silent and said, "You lead the way." The servant was shocked. Something big was going to happen. Inside the inn, He Lin respectfully bowed to Tang Ao. "Young Master Tang, thank you for your help that day." Tang Ao quickly helped He Lin up. "I don't deserve it. There's no need for such a big bow. Tang Ao doesn't deserve it." He Lin extended his hand. Uncle Ding and Lord Ah each took a big gift and respectfully placed it on the wooden table beside Tang Ao. "If you want to come, then come. Why bring so many gifts?" Tang Ao was pleased. This He Lin's way of handling things was very thoughtful, better than what Tang Ao had expected. Tang Ao initially thought that He Lin was just a weak and useless young master, but now it seemed that He Lin was a good seedling with a healthy IQ and high EQ. Chapter 91. With strength, that was how confident he was. Who at the 7th level of the body refining realm could take on a killing move from an origin martial realm warrior? He Lin sighed, his face miserable. "Although I am the son of the city lord, because my mother was born in a lowly position, I have to be respectful, humble, and tolerant. Now that my father is about to leave this world, when my brothers are killing each other, I will spare his life." Who would have thought that they would go too far? He Yuanjun provoked again, and the other young masters just watched from the sidelines, hitting him when he was down. This is intolerable. So I have decided that I will fight for the position of City Lord. Blindly retreating and tolerating will only lead to being bullied and manipulated by others. He Lin clenched his fists, his eyes resolute. Tang Ao smiled faintly and thought, this kid has some potential. At least he is not a timid person. Ada echoed, my young master has no intention of fighting for the position of city lord. It is just that they have gone too far and are not giving him a way out. I hope that young Master Tang can help my young master. Although I do not seek to win the position of city lord, I hope that I can lose with dignity. Uncle Ding and Ada bowed to Tang Ao together and said respectfully, young Master Tang, please help my young master. Looking at the two begging before him, then looking at He whose eyes were filled with anticipation and determination, Tang Ao agreed. Since young Master Lin has come personally, I, Tang Ao, have to give you face. I will represent the 7 Kills sect to agree to your request. Firstly, Tang Ao valued He Lin's lowly background. Secondly, he wanted to complete the mission given to him by the sect, so he brought up the 7 Kills sect. The 3 of them were overjoyed. They bowed again. Thank you, young master, for your help. Tang Ao looked indifferent. What do you mean losing with dignity? Who asked you to be the weakest? However, with this young master's assistance, the position of Waterpearl City's city lord will definitely be yours. Tang Ao was bursting with confidence. He Lin was stunned when he heard that. He was baffled by Tang Ao's confidence. Even if Tang Ao had the support of the 7 Kills sect, there were still descendants of the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect who could contend with him in the process of competing. Uncle Ding and Ada were filled with disbelief. Although they had seen Tang Ao's extraordinary strength, he was so confident that he could obtain the position of City Lord. It was as if recruiting Tang Ao was equivalent to obtaining the position. Wow! How arrogant! A contemptuous voice came from outside the door, and then the door was kicked open. He Yuanjun barged in with Zhou Ji and Hua Ping. A manservant was cowering at the side, looking innocently at Tang Ao and the others. He Yuanjun raised her chin high and looked down at Tang Ao and the other 3. Just now, someone said, who is the Castellan? Humph, how arrogant! Tang Ao was depressed. He didn't want to look for him, but He Yuanjun came to him. Just as he was about to speak, He Lin stepped out. His thin body looked unusually tall at this moment. He Yuanjun, don't go too far. He Yuanjun laughed out loud and pushed He Lin, forcing him to retreat. Ha ha ha, you useless piece of trash. So what if I bully you? Ada and Uncle Ding hurried forward to support He Lin. They stared angrily at He Yuanjun and scolded. He Yuanjun, you bully the weak and fear the strong. He Yuanjun looked at He Lin with disdain. Don't think that you can compete with me just because you recruited someone from the 7 Kills sect. Let me tell you, you are trash, and you can only be trash for the rest of your life. Wow. Young master is so powerful. You pushed a trash so far away. You are so powerful. Tang Ao mocked and ridiculed him. How dare you? Zhou Ji was the first to step out. His performance on the heaven and earth stage had caused his position in He Yuanjun's eyes to plummet. He desperately needed a chance to prove himself. Brat, since you are a disciple of the 7 Kills sect, kneel down and apologize to my young master, and I will let you live. Otherwise, I will make you wish you were dead. Oh! Tang Ao was feeling displeased in his heart. Why is it that I keep coming across such an opinionated fool? I will give you a chance as well. Slap yourself 20 times, or else I will teach you how to be a proper person. Tang Ao's eyes carried a trace of ridicule and ridicule. If Wang Lin saw this, he would be trembling and covered in cold sweat. Zhou Ji shouted, Brat, you are looking for death. He charged toward Tang Ao. His hand formed a sword and he slashed. Noisy! Tang Ao suddenly shouted. Before anyone could see his movements, Zhou Ji's body flew out of the door and landed in the lobby of the restaurant, kicking up a cloud of dust. The people who were eating in the lobby were scared and ran out. They hid on both sides of the door and peeped. Why? It was so lively. The shopkeeper and the waiters hid behind the counter, trembling, watching the show in front of them. You dare to hit me? Zhou Ji got up and touched his swollen left cheek. He looked at Tang Ao, who was leisurely walking upstairs with a face full of resentment. After He Lin and the others saw the result, they were speechless. Tang Ao was holding a shoe sole in his hand, and Zhou Ji's face had a clear shoe print. It was so red that it was almost purple. How could this happen? However, He Yuanjun and Hua Ping's faces were ugly. He Yuanjun was so angry that her body was trembling. She kept calling Zhou Ji trash. Tang Ao patted the sole of his shoe on the railing, as if he was flicking away some dust. Hit you? So what if I hit you? Who told you to have such a dirty mouth? Zhou Ji was infuriated. He took out 3 life spirit swords and thrust them towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao looked helpless. Someone's asking for a beating again. How despicable! As he spoke, he clenched his right fist. From his fist to his arm, a black sand substance seeped out, covering his arm like a handguard. Bang! Tang Ao suddenly exerted strength in his legs and rushed toward Zhou Ji. Is he crazy? No matter how strong he is, he can't take on Zhou Ji's life spirits with his bare hands. What's more, these are 3 life spirits that specialize in killing. Ada and Ding Bo were dumbfounded. They shook their heads and sighed at Tang Ao's overestimation. Even He Lin broke out in a cold sweat. He blamed Tang Ao for being too reckless. Reckless fool, how dare you take on Zhou Ji's life spirits? Hua Ping sneered. He and He Yuanjun looked at Tang Ao mockingly, waiting for a good show to happen. Crack! Under everyone's incredulous gaze, Tang Ao smashed Zhou Ji's 3 life spirits with 1 punch. With his life spirits damaged, Zhou Ji spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and collapsed to the ground. The people who mocked Tang Ao looked as if they had been struck by lightning. They were dumbfounded and their eyeballs were about to pop out. He Lin and the other 2 were once again deeply shocked by Tang Ao's strength. At the 8th tier of the body refining realm, he had taken on a life spirit that was at the pinnacle of the body refining realm with his bare hand. He had even smashed his opponent's life spirit and sent him flying, spitting blood. Chapter 92. Hua Ping originally thought that Zhou Ji would beat up Tang Ao, but who would have thought that he would be injured by a single punch from Tang Ao? He knew that they had hit a snag. Tang Ao walked up to Zhou Ji nonchalantly. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, he sat down on Zhou Ji's body and used the sole of his shoe to slap Zhou Ji's swollen face. Who asked you to curse? Didn't your mother teach you to be civilized? Didn't your elders teach you to treat others with respect? Tang Ao slapped and preached at the same time. The sound of slapping and Tang Ao's preaching rose and fell one after another. There was an inexplicable rhythm to it. The crowd outside the door was shocked by this scene. There's such a fighting style? It could be said that Tang Ao's actions today had completely overturned the crowd's view of those sect disciples. Wasn't this a hooligan? He Lin, Ding Bo, and the rest were speechless. They covered their faces and pretended that they didn't know Tang Ao. Who would fight like this? It was either a battle of martial skills or a clash of weapons. Who would use the sole of a shoe? If the 5th elder was here, he would probably grab Tang Ao and kick his butt. Hua Ping's veins were already bulging on his forehead. His anger was unbearable. This was not only a slap to Zhou Ji's face, but also to the Heartless sect's face. An elite disciple of the Heartless sect, a martial artist at the peak of the body refining realm, was actually being ridden on by a martial artist who was a minor realm lower than him, and beaten up with the sole of a shoe. This was a slap to the face that even his mother wouldn't be able to recognize. It was practically a pig's head. Enough. Slap, slap, slap. Hua Ping was completely enraged. He jumped off the building and aimed a kick at Tang Ao's back. The Zhen Yuan on his legs surged. He was clearly enraged and wanted to kill Tang Ao. The crowd outside the door shrank their necks in fear and hid far away, afraid that they would be implicated. On the floor, Ada and Ding Bo stood in front of He Lin to protect him from the aftermath. "You're an old man in your 70s or 80s, how dare you attack a junior?" Tang Ao cursed as he executed the mysterious valley leg, jumping out of the path of Huoping's attack. When Huoping saw that his kick had missed, he did not chase after Zhou Ji. Instead, he quickly transferred his true essence to Zhou Ji to stabilize his injuries. Zhou Ji's life spirit had suffered a setback, and he had been slapped dozens of times by Tang Ao. He was on the brink of death, and his swollen lips were foaming with blood. "Tang Ao, you're looking for death." Zhou Ji, who had just recovered from the transfer of some quintessential essence, pointed at Tang Ao and cursed. However, because several of his teeth had been knocked out, his words were slurred. "What?" Tang Ao pretended to be deaf and weighed the sole of the shoe in his hand. "What did you say? I didn't hear you clearly. Say it again." As he spoke, he deliberately moved closer to Zhou Ji, who was still recovering. When Zhou Ji saw the sole of the shoe in Tang Ao's hand, his body shivered, and his eyes rolled back into his head as he fainted again. After being beaten by Tang Ao like that, Zhou Ji was probably traumatized for the rest of his life. "Tang Ao, that's enough. I will report this to the faction, just wait for the heartless sect's punishment." Huoping carried Zhou Ji on his back, and did not forget to warn Tang Ao before he left. Tang Ao curled his lips in disdain. "Welcome. I will greet you with the warmest sole of my shoe." Don't talk nonsense." Huoping did not attack Tang Ao because of his pride and turned to leave. Zhou Ji was crippled, and the Heartless sect did not have enough manpower in Water Pearl City. Huoping needed the faction to send another batch of disciples to help him. When He Yuanjun saw her two most capable assistants run away, she panicked. While Tang Ao and the others were not paying attention, she sneaked down the stairs and slipped out of the hall. "Master, where are you going?" Tang Ao sat on a dining table, carelessly playing with the sole of the shoe in his hand, flicking the dust off from time to time. He Yuanjun suddenly froze, and his body actually shivered a little. He turned around, put on the posture of a young master, and said, "I'm warning you, I can't." Poor He Yuanjun, before he could finish his sentence, a black shadow whizzed by. Pop! With a crisp sound, He Yuanjun's body flew out of the door, and landed heavily on the ground, raising dust everywhere. A shoe fell from the air, and landed right on He Yuanjun's body. Tang Ao's indifferent voice came from the hall. "Get out! If you come looking for trouble in the future, I will teach you how to be a man." He Yuanjun covered the swollen half of his face, pushed through the crowd, and hurriedly escaped. "You guys wait for me." He Lin was very happy. He had been bullied by his brothers for a long time, and today he could finally hold his head up high. That was refreshing. He called out to Ada, "You guys go outside and bring Master Tang's shoe in." Ada and Uncle Ding were speechless again. They shook their heads with a bitter smile, walked down the stairs, and picked up Tang Ao's shoe. Tang Ao sat on the table, took the sole that Ada handed over, and patted the dust off. Sigh. "Some people. They are despicable. I have to beat them hard to teach them a lesson." He Lin and the others were speechless again. Beating people with the sole of a shoe, this group of people was really like a young lady sitting in a sedan chair. "Master Tang, feel free to rest here. He Lin, will pay for all your expenses." "Alright. If anyone comes looking for trouble, come straight to me. I will recuperate first, and tomorrow I will help you fight for the position of Castellan." Tang Ao replied indifferently, and without looking back, he went back to his room to continue his enlightenment. "Bastard! Trash! All trash! Ouch!" He Yuanjun pointed at Huoping in front of him and cursed, but accidentally tore the wound on his face. The pain made him suck in a breath of cold air. Huaping was also very sullen. He'd wanted to find trouble with Tang Ao, but in the end, Zhou Ji had been pressed to the ground by Tang Ao. If he hadn't treated him in time, Zhou Ji's cultivation would have regressed even if he'd fully recovered. Even so, Zhou Ji wouldn't be able to go out without recuperating for a month or two. Now, he was being pointed at and cursed by a secular disciple who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. If it wasn't for the sect rule that he had to help He Yuanjun win the position of Castellan with all his might, he would have slapped him to death right now. Say something. Why are you staring at me like that? Are you trying to rebel? Seeing Huaping glare at him viciously, he actually felt a trace of fear in his heart. But when he thought about his own status, he grew bolder again. Yes, Master. What do you plan to do next? Huaping gritted his teeth in anger. If looks could kill, He Yuanjun would have died hundreds and thousands of times already. Idiot. Trash. What's the use of you? With Zhou Ji down, who's going to the ring of heaven and earth tomorrow? If you can't find a suitable person, I'll report you to the Council of Elders. Chapter 93. He Yuanjun seemed to have calmed down a little. He covered his swollen face and his eyes were cold. Tomorrow, I want to see Tang Ao's corpse lying on the stage. I want everyone in Dewdrop City to know that this is the result of going against me. Early the next morning, the universe ring was filled with people who came to watch the competition. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. They surrounded the universe ring like a pancake. On the viewing platform behind the ring, there were a few young masters. Other than the 4 people who had the most hope to become the lord of the city, there was also a tall, skinny, and amiable-looking young master. Behind him was a person wearing a white robe. He was looking around absent-mindedly. Who else could it be other than Tang Ao? After yesterday's farce, the city lord changed the rules. Origin Realm warriors were forbidden from fighting, or else the young master would be disqualified. There were a total of 17 tokens, 1 for every young master. After a few rounds of elimination, the number of tokens was as follows. Eldest young master He Yuanza had 6 tokens, 9th young master He Yuanchao had 3 tokens, 11th young master He Yuani had 4 tokens, 13th young master He Yuanjun had 3 tokens, 17th young master He Lin had 1 token. Old 17th, I heard that you recruited a 7 kills sect disciple yesterday and even gave old 13th a vicious beating? I wonder if I can broaden my horizons? 9th young master He Yuanchao's face was full of mockery. After all, half of the 13th young master's face was still swollen. The other young masters laughed. Even the usually calm eldest young master He Yuanza couldn't help but laugh. He held it in for a while. All right. Let's start today's competition. Father has already changed the rules. Everyone should know. He Yuanza purposely dragged out the last syllable and looked at He Yuanjun meaningfully. 13th young master He Yuanjuan's face darkened. He pointed at 17th young master He Lin and cursed, "Trash! Today, I will beat you until you look for your teeth all over the floor." Behind He Yuanjun, a dozen heartless clan warriors rubbed their fists and palms, eager to fight. What happened yesterday was spread to the sect. The elders took it seriously and blamed Huaping for not doing his job well. After selecting a dozen elites, they gave an ultimatum. If you don't get the city lord's position, you can't return to the sect. Go! He Yuanjun beckoned with her right hand, and a martial artist at the peak of the 8th tier of the body refining realm jumped onto the universe ring. He did not bow, but looked arrogantly at Tang Ao behind He Lin. Tang Ao, quickly come out and accept your death. Huaping kept cursing He Yuanjun in his heart. It was not as if he had not seen what had happened yesterday. Tang Ao had used the sole of his shoe to beat Zhou Ji to the point where he had no chance to retaliate at all. Zhou Ji was at the peak of the body refining realm, but he had still been beaten by Tang Ao like a father beating his son. This 8th celestial layer was simply courting death if he went up. "Young master, let me go. I have the confidence to deal with him," Ada volunteered. He knew Tang Ao's strength. It would be easy for him to deal with this 8th celestial layer, so he did not want to trouble Tang Ao. "All right. Then you can go. Be careful." Lin patted Ada's shoulder and reminded him. Tang Ao looked at Yuanjun, who was not far away, and suddenly showed a teasing smile. He stopped. "Ada, don't. Let me go. Some people just need to be taught a lesson." Lin and the other two saw Tang Ao's expression and shivered. They covered their faces and smiled bitterly, praying for that martial artist in their hearts. Tang Ao used Mystic Valley Kick and jumped onto the heaven and earth ring with a bang. He used his hands as a pillow and said, "Hurry up and make your move. You only need one chance." Arrogant. The heartless sex martial artist was enraged. He did not expect Tang Ao to be even more arrogant than him. Suddenly, 3 life spirits appeared above his head and rushed towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao did not make any moves. It was the same as the beginning. His face was indifferent, and he did not even look at that martial artist. This made the martial artist even angrier. "Bastard! Go to hell!" Purring. At this moment Tang Ao moved. The audience only saw a blur, and Tang Ao's figure disappeared from the ring. With the help of Mystic Valley Kick, Tang Ao's speed was 2 to 3 times faster than usual. Ordinary people could not even see Tang Ao clearly. The martial artist was stunned. Before he could react, he felt a burning pain on his face. The force on his face did not decrease, but sent the martial artist flying. The dust that was stirred up covered the entire heaven and earth ring. This is impossible." The new heartless sex disciple next to Yuanjun was in disbelief. Senior brother Jean has a 10th-fold life spirit, and he could not even block one move from him. When everyone saw Tang Ao clearly, their mouths twitched. They wanted to strangle Tang Ao immediately. The heartless sex disciples were ashamed and angry. Their faces were red with anger. Hua Ping's face was gloomy, and his cheeks were bulging. He probably wanted to swallow Tang Ao alive. Tang Ao was still standing where he was, holding a shoe board in his hand. He looked at the martial artist with the surname Jean like a hunter looking at his prey. He even chuckled from time to time. The metal warrior struggled to get up. He covered the left side of his face where the shoe print was clearly visible. He glared at Tang Ao angrily. "How dare you slap me? Go to hell." Ignoring his swollen face, the metal warrior condensed 3 life spirits again. He roared and rushed toward Tang Ao. Tang Ao spread his hands helplessly. "Since you don't know what's good for you, then there's nothing I can do." After saying that, he infused true essence into the sole of his shoe and slammed it toward the 3 life spirits. Crash! Like glass shattering, the metal warrior was in disbelief. Tang Ao crushed the 3 life spirits with one shoe board. "Pah!" Another slap landed on the metal warrior's face, sending him flying again. The metal warrior fell to the ground and spat out blood. There were even a few teeth in the blood. He was so ashamed that he fainted. He was slapped twice with a shoe board in public, and he could not fight back at all. Instead of continuing to embarrass himself, he might as well faint. Therefore, he fainted immediately. The few young masters watching were so shocked that their jaws could not close. Lin and Ada were speechless. They covered their faces and acted like they did not know him. "Who else wants to fight? Hurry up. I still need to go back to eat after you fight." Tang Ao looked at the heartless sex disciples behind Yuanjun lazily. He did not care. This time, the heartless sex disciples were much calmer. They were not as excited as before. Based on the battle with junior brother Jean, they quickly deduced that Tang Ao was not only at the 8th tier of the body-tempering realm. To be able to use a shoe board to crush 3 life spirits, He had to at least be at the 9th tier of the body-tempering realm. He could even fight against a half-step origin martial artist. Chapter 94. Tang Ao's clean and efficient battle caused all the martial artists present to stop underestimating him. They began to take 17th young master He Lin seriously. If you want to fight, hurry up. Don't dilly-dally. Tang Ao put on his shoes and provoked the disciples behind He Yuanjun. Elder, please let me go. A disciple at the 9th tier of the body refining realm begged Huaping. Following that, a few other martial artists at the 9th tier of the body refining realm also requested to fight. There were even 1 or 2 martial artists at the peak of the 9th tier of the body refining realm who requested to fight. He face-bombed and thought for a moment. He pointed at a martial artist in a black robe. Song Yuanlong, you go. Remember not to be careless. Yes, Elder. Song Yuanlong jumped out of the spectator's stand and landed on the heaven and earth platform. He cupped his fists and bowed to Tang Ao. Heartless sect, Song Yuanlong. This challenger was much more polite than the previous one. Tang Ao cupped his fists and returned the greeting. 7 kills sect. Tang Ao, please. Song Yuanlong did not dare to be careless. 3 life spirits appeared above his head. One was the dark spirit ghost gate blade from the 4th tier, one was the Tianzi thin thread sword from the 7th tier, and one was the scarlet wind shattering axe from the 10th tier. Once the 3 life spirits appeared, He Yuanjuan's face revealed a proud expression. 3 weapon-type life spirits, all focused on killing. Let's see how you deal with them. Beat him to death. He Yuanjun could not help but roar. However, he accidentally tore the scar on his face and grimaced in pain. Song Yuanlong's legs abruptly exerted force as he charged toward Tang Ao. His Tianzi fine thread sword was aimed at Tang Ao's lower body, and each of his attacks was exceptionally crafty and vicious. The dark spirit ghost gate blade only cared about randomly slashing left and right in front of Tang Ao's chest. As for the scarlet wind shattering axe that came from the 10th layer of heaven, it was constantly hovering above Tang Ao's head, as if waiting for an opportunity to deal a fatal blow to Tang Ao. Tang Ao remained calm and collected. He activated mysterious centipede kick, and his legs exploded forward. Song Yuanlong only saw a black shadow flash past him and attack the target in front of him who had lost sight of Tang Ao. Song Yuanlong's expression immediately changed. Not good. He hurriedly commanded the sword soul to return and defend. Although the blade soul and the axe soul were powerful, they were not as flexible as the sword soul. Not bad. Tang Ao flashed past Song Yuanlong's left side and disappeared again. Tang Ao was only testing Song Yuanlong's reaction speed with that attack just now, and the result was to Tang Ao's satisfaction. Take this. Out of nowhere, Tang Ao's voice resounded once again, causing Song Yuanlong to be startled for a moment. Hastily recalling his blade soul and axe soul, his imposing aura suddenly rose, causing the surrounding spiritual qi to rapidly converge towards Song Yuanlong. As if the sky had darkened, Song Yuanlong's surroundings were filled with a gloomy aura, and from time to time, he could hear the wailing of ghosts and the howling of wolves. Senior brother Song is going to use the blood-light ghost saber. A younger disciple behind He Yuanjun shouted excitedly. The other disciples were also excited, waving their tightly clenched fists. Hoo-hoo! Woo-woo! Song Yuanlong seemed to have changed into a different person. His eyes were red and his hair stood on end. From time to time, his body would emit clouds of black mist, and the faint sound of ghosts crying could be heard. This blood-light ghost saber was a martial technique that Song Yuanlong had specially cultivated to complement the dark spirit ghost gate saber. It was also the life soul that was most compatible with him. Although it was not as compatible as the 100 battle spear soul and Tang Ao, he could still use it freely and with ease. Ah! Can young Master Tang win? On the viewing platform, He Lin was sweating profusely for Tang Ao. He clutched his robes tightly, almost tearing them apart. Ada was also rather anxious. Hit him! Hit him! Why is he dodging and not fighting back? Hit him! Uncle Ding was much calmer. Stroking his white beard, he chuckled and said, "Young master, don't panic. Although young Master Tang's fighting style is not elegant, he has yet to reveal his life soul. Even a 9th-tier body refining realm cultivator like Zhou Ji could not withstand a few of young Master Tang's move. Taking down Song Yuanlong is a piece of cake. Young master, don't be anxious. Just watch in peace." After hearing this, He Lin and Ada gradually calmed down. They were no longer anxious and quietly watched the match. The eldest, He Yuanza, supported his chin and watched the match between Tang Ao and Song Yuanlong with interest. What cultivation level is this Tang Ao at? Why is he dodging and not attacking? Behind him was a martial artist. His aura was restrained and his eyes were sharp. At first glance, one wouldn't be able to tell that he was a body refinement realm expert. He muttered to himself, "Young master, Tang Ao is like a cat playing with a mouse." Oh! He Yuanza was a little surprised. Life and death on the universe ring was in their own hand. This Tang Ao was actually playing a game. Interesting. The other young masters were also surprised and curious as they watched the two duels on the stage. In the first match, the disciple's mother could not recognize him. In the second match, he was dodging everywhere, as though he was afraid of Song Yuanlong. No matter how he attacked, he did not fight back. 15 minutes passed just like that. Song Yuanlong was gradually running out of Jin Yuan, and many beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. On the other hand, Tang Ao was still full of energy. Mystic Centipede Kick carried his figure around the stage, dodging Song Yuanlong's attacks again and again. He even pretended to fight back from time to frighten Song Yuanlong. Song Yuanlong felt bitter in his heart. It was like a fat man who had a sting on his back, but could not scratch it no matter how hard he tried. He had strength but nowhere to exert it, and he could not vent his anger. It was suffocating. In fact, Tang Ao was testing the effect of Mystic Centipede Kick after mastering it. After 15 minutes of calculation and verification, Tang Ao had an idea. "It's time to end this." Bo. At the northwest corner of the battlefield, the air suddenly fluctuated, and a bloody smell quickly spread out. Tang Ao's figure gradually appeared, and everyone felt as if they were looking at an ancient battlefield filled with golden spears and armored horses. Banners covered the sun, yellow sand billowed, and a rusty spear body, but the tip of the spear was emitting a cold light, expressing the thirst for battle. It was the 100 battle spear soul. The 100 battle spear soul materialized above Tang Ao's head and was grabbed by Tang Ao. With a flick of his hand, 8 spear flowers appeared and stabbed at Song Yuanlong. It didn't use any fancy moves, nor did it cause the slightest ripple in the air. It just pierced toward Song Yuanlong in such a simple and unadorned manner. Song Yuanlong's pupils suddenly constricted. The tip of the 100 battle spear soul grew larger in his eyes, but his feet seemed to be rooted to the ground, unable to move at all. This was a trembling, a fear that came from the depths of his soul binding his body. The spear tip was like a hot knife through butter. Bo! 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 With 3 sounds, it pierced through the 3 weapon-type life souls that automatically protected him. When it was only a centimeter away from his forehead, the spear tip suddenly stopped. That mountain-toppling momentum disappeared in an instant, as if it had never existed. Only the flying dust told the truth of what had just happened. Chapter 95. Trash. Trash. All of you are trash. On the viewing platform, He Yuanjun cursed. His expression changed faster than the flipping of a book. The three weapon-type life spirits were all ferocious weapons that specialized in killing. Yet, they were being played around by Tang Ao. They did not even manage to force Tang Ao to use his technique. They did not even manage to touch Tang Ao's side before they lost inexplicably. How could He Yuanjun not fly into a rage? He repeatedly cursed the heartless sex people as trash. They were at the 9th tier of the body refining realm, and could not even take down a martial artist at the 8th tier. Yet, they called themselves elite. Actually, they could not be blamed. Who asked them to be so blind as to go against a monster like Tang Ao? If Tang Ao really went all out and used all three life spirits, even if Waping came, Tang Ao would dare to exchange a few blows with him. Looking at the spear tip that was only an inch away from him, Song Yuanlong was so scared that his face turned pale. Cold sweat flowed down his temples. I admit defeat, I admit defeat. Tang Ao kept the 100 battle spear soul and returned to his arena without looking back. He said arrogantly, I haven't even used my strength. You've lost. Song Yuanlong almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He hurriedly escaped from the universe platform and ran away. He Lin, Uncle Ding, and the rest sweated. This young Master Tang really? Halfway through, they actually could not find the right words to describe Tang Ao. The eldest young master, He Yuanza, also chuckled. Interesting. Interesting. This young Master Tang is really an interesting person. It's a pity that old 17 got lucky. A middle-aged man stepped forward. His eyebrows were like swords. Although he was thin, he gave off a tall and straight aura. Young master, it's our turn. He Yuanza waved his hand. Let him fight with old 13's people first. Let him waste his energy. When the time comes, we can just sit back and reap the benefits. The other two young masters seemed to have thought of this as well. They secretly whispered a few words to their subordinates and looked at the universe arena again. Tang Ao tidied up his clothes and pretentiously combed his hair that was not messy at all. He pointed at the heartless sect disciples behind He Yuanjun and said, Call out all of you who can fight. Let me slap you with my shoe. He Yuanjun was exasperated. Go! You bunch of trash! Let's go! She pointed at the Heartless Society disciples behind her. One of the Heartless Society disciples could not stand it. He clenched his teeth in anger and wanted to teach He Yuanjun a lesson, but Huaping stopped him with a slight shake of his head. It was not only the disciple who couldn't take it anymore. He Yuanjun didn't treat them as human beings at all. Some of them wanted to teach him a lesson. Unfortunately, his master had given him a death order. He had to help He Yuanjun win the position of the Castellan. Otherwise, he wouldn't even need to come back. In fact, Huaping was having a headache. Tang Ao's ability was there for all to see. The scene of him slapping Zhou Ji with his shoe was still fresh in his mind. He roughly estimated that if he didn't have the ability of the pinnacle of the body refining realm and an extremely powerful life spirit, he wouldn't even have a 30% chance of winning against Tang Ao. He sighed softly, You go! Huaping selected a muscular and fierce-looking disciple. Ah! It's senior brother Yen Inkai, ranked 5th in the outer sect. Senior brother Yen has 2 life spirits of level 10 and above. I also heard that one is in charge of killing while the other is in charge of defense. Their abilities are incredible. The Heartless Clan's disciples behind He Yuanjun were in a heated discussion. They were no longer dejected from kneeling down twice. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. They all hoped that senior brother Yen could shine and teach this arrogant guy a lesson so that they could vent their anger. Yen Inkai summoned the Yin and Yang coiling dragon halberd that was in charge of killing and the floating light ancient armor that was in charge of defense. The halberd roared and the armor glowed. The crowd cheered. He Yuanjun and the Heartless sect disciples behind her clapped and said, Kill him! Take this! Yen Inkai roared. He ignored the greetings and salutes and went straight for Tang Ao. Tang Ao slowly touched the soles of his feet and pulled out the sole of his shoe. He pointed at Yen Inkai. You know what? I hate people with bad manners. Yen Inkai was stunned. His vision blurred and waves of pain came from the left side of his face. He then flew backward. Pervert! One of the young masters on the spectators' stand exclaimed. The crowd was embarrassed. They thought that Tang Ao was only hitting people on a whim. They didn't expect him to be addicted to it. Yuanjun was so angry that her face turned purple. She kept shouting, Hit him! Hit him! You trash! Hit him! Hu Ping and the rest of the Heartless sect disciples also clenched their fists. They hated Tang Ao so much that they gritted their teeth. They looked like they wanted to skin Tang Ao alive. He landed and kicked up a cloud of dust. Bastard! Go to hell! Yen Inkai was not willing to give up. He activated his true yuan. Ignoring his swollen face, he attacked Tang Ao again. Tang Ao was not happy. Why are you all so rude? Before that, there was Zhou Ji and now there was that guy with the surname Jean. Why don't you have any memory? Tang Ao slapped the sole of his shoe rhythmically. He looked at Yen Inkai who was struggling in the distance. Yuanjun saw this look for the second time today. She was still scared out of her wit. Quick, do it. You trash. Kill him. Kill him. Tang Ao walked over slowly, and he seemed to be indifferent, but his rage was gradually burning. Today I'll beat all of you up one by one. You talk big. Watch my halberd. Yen Inkai controlled the halberd of Yin and Yang and struck down. The halberd fell in the air. The dragon on the halberd seemed to come alive. The black and white Tai Chi diagram at the joint of the halberd and the halberd spun rapidly. Get lost! Tang Ao shouted and poured his quintessential essence into the shoe, making it even stronger than a normal weapon. He hit the halberd of Yen Inkai to the side. He activated mysterious centipede kick. Whoosh! Tang Ao disappeared again. Bang! Yen Inkai's sturdy body flew out again. He smashed a big hole on the bluestone ground. He felt something sweet in his throat. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Tang Ao followed. He pressed Yen Inkai under his body. He shouted at the shoe, You don't know manners. You don't know manners. Apologize to me. Apologize. Apologize. Yen Inkai's face was already swollen like a pig's head. His eyebrows and eyes were squeezed by the flesh. From time to time, he spat out some blood and teeth. He said vaguely, Puff, 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 puff. Admit your mistake. Admit your mistake. Admit your mistake. Tang Ao was very unhappy in his heart, so he increased his strength and continued to blow on the face that was no longer human. Woo woo woo. I was wrong. Stop hitting me. Yen Inkai used all his strength to squeeze these words out of his mouth. He was beaten like a child and started crying. Chapter 96. Yen Inkai spat out another mouthful of old blood and fainted completely. Tang Ao raised his eyebrows and looked provocatively at Yuanjun and the Heartless sect's disciples behind her. None of them can fight. A bunch of trash. Yuanjun was so angry that her face turned black. The disciples of the Heartless clan were angry and helpless. They let Tang Ao provoke them on the Heaven and Earth ring. He really had no choice. He couldn't beat him, and he was even beaten up by Tang Ao with the sole of his shoe. Brother Shu! Brother Shu is invincible! Someone in the crowd gave such a slogan. Tang Ao was speechless. How can you blame me for having good soles? Tang Ao reluctantly accepted the nickname, Shu Bro. Who else? Who else? Tang Ao stood on the universe ring with his hands behind his back. He narrowed his eyes slightly and pursed his lip. There was a moment of silence on the grandstand. What a joke! Tang Ao's strength was there for all to see. Without using true essence, those in the same realm as him, as long as they didn't reach the origin realm, they could not do anything to Tang Ao. Young master, let's admit defeat. Hua Ping sighed helplessly. There was no helping it. The city lord's mansion ordered that origin realm cultivators could not interfere with the universe ring's competition. Otherwise, he would have already rushed onto the stage and ruthlessly rubbed Tang Ao on the ground. He Yuan-jun was trembling all over, as if she was desperately trying to restrain herself. Let's go. A bunch of trash. Good for nothing. Tang Ao quickly stopped him. Hey. Don't worry. Leave the token behind. Humph. Progenitor, he waved her sleeves and the 3 tokens flew towards He-Lin. Thud, thud, thud. The tokens stuck into the ground and the ends were still trembling slightly. Let's go. He Yuan-jun waved his hand and left the grandstand with a dark face. I won't be sending you off. Tang Ao cheerfully waved at He Yuan-jun to express his friendly greeting. He patted his butt and returned to his seat. After this round of elimination, He-Lin's group successfully obtained 4 tokens. They immediately caught up and left the 9th young master He Yuanchao behind, keeping pace with the 11th young master He Yuani. Ada hugged Tang Ao and cheered like a child. He-Lin also heaved a heavy sigh of relief. Compared to He Yuan-jun, who looked down on him the most, he felt much better. Uncle Ding stroked his beard behind him and looked at Ada and young master with a smile. He felt very comforted. Behind He Yuanchao, an elder of the Heavenly Moon sect whispered into He Yuanchao's ear that Tang Ao really has some skills. He defeated all the Heartless sect disciples in a few moves and forced He Yuan-jun to hand over the 3 tokens. Right now, we have the least number of tokens. If He Yuanchao was suddenly enraged. His face darkened. Do you think I don't know? I want you to talk too much. The most important thing now is how to deal with old 17th's subordinate. Yes. The elder hurriedly shut his mouth and didn't speak anymore. He was only an elder of the duty hall in the outer sect. He couldn't afford to offend an inner sect disciple who was 1 level higher than him. Moreover, He Yuanchao's mother had already become an elder of the inner sect. Her strength was far above him. The elder rolled his eyes and had an idea. I have a method. We can send a disciple at the peak of the body refining realm and let him break through to the origin realm on the field. That way we can win against him and not violate the laws of the city leader's office. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. If he broke through to the origin realm from the body refining realm naturally, it wouldn't be a big deal. If he used external forces, such as spirit herbs or immortal flowers to break through to the origin realm, there wouldn't be a problem after he completely digested it. But if he used medicinal pellets to stimulate his body's potential and break through the shackles of the world, forcefully breaking through to the origin realm, it would leave hidden injuries and hidden dangers. Cultivation was originally a path that went against the heavens. Breaking the shackles of the world step by step was not allowed by the heavens, not to mention using medicinal pellets to forcefully raise one's realm. If it was light, his cultivation wouldn't be able to advance, and he wouldn't have any hope of advancing in his entire life. If it was heavy, his life spirit would explode and he would die. When the Heavenly Moon sect disciples behind him heard this method, a chill immediately rose in their hearts. How is this a competition? This is clearly sending one's life away. He Yuanchao retracted his angry expression, stroked his mustache, and said darkly, Fine. I'll let you decide who to choose. You must take down that brat Tang Ao for me. Yes. The Heavenly Moon sect elder glanced at the disciples behind him. His dark gaze caused them to tremble with fear. Finally, his gaze locked onto a disciple who was slightly older. Gu Debai. In a moment you will go up. Me? Gu Debai foolishly pointed at himself. This Gu Debai was immersed in the path of martial artists. His attainments in martial arts and talent had once caused the disciples present to click their tongues. But because he was ambushed in a duel, his head was injured. From then on, he became an idiot, and his cultivation naturally couldn't advance a single step. However, Goudabai was easy to command and did whatever he was told. His cultivation was also one of the top experts in the body refining realm. Naturally, it was him. The other Heavenly Moon sect disciples secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Good thing I wasn't chosen. They all distanced themselves from Goudabai, afraid that he would infect them with bad luck. After half an hour, the Heavenly Moon sect elder called out to Goudabai and gave him a black medicinal pellet. In a moment, when you go up on stage, eat this medicinal pellet. Once you're done, kill that brat and your task will be complete. Goudabai was still as foolish as before. He had no idea that he had been tricked by the elder. Look at his stupid face. Some of the Heavenly Moon sect disciples behind him couldn't help but laugh. Their expressions were filled with schadenfreude, without the slightest bit of pity for their fellow sect members. The Heavenly Moon sect elder shouted towards the judges, "Young Master He Yuanchao's residence, Heavenly Moon sect's Goudabai, requests to fight Young Master He Lin's residence, 7 kills sect's Tang Ao." Tang Ao was sipping his tea, and when he suddenly heard such a sentence, he felt depressed in his heart. When I am here, you don't want to fight, but when I am resting, you ask to fight. What are you doing? Young Master He Yuanchao's residence, Heavenly Moon sect's Goudabai, requests to fight Young Master He Lin's residence, 7 kills sect's Tang Ao. The elder shouted again. Because he used too much strength the first time, his voice was a little muffled. All right. I know. I accept. After a while, Tang Ao's lazy voice came from the resting area of the spectator's stand. He was indifferent, as if he didn't agree to a life-and-death battle, but went out to play with friends. After twisting his neck and stretching his wrists and ankles, Tang Ao jumped onto the universe ring and stood opposite of Goudabai. The entire spectator's stand and the universe ring were silent. Even the spectators didn't dare to breathe too loudly. Chapter 97. The scorching sun shone on the stage, making the heaven and earth ring unusually hot, but the two still hadn't made any moves. What are they doing? What's the meaning of watching and not fighting? The crowd seemed to be getting impatient. Fight. Don't just watch. The young masters on the stage were also getting impatient. They called a few attendants to prepare food and wine, preparing to watch while eating. Even Tang Ao was a bit depressed, let alone them. I'm not fighting because I'm giving you a chance to fight first. Now I'm not fighting and you're not fighting either. These two idiots are sunbathing on the stage. Hey, are you going to fight or not? If not, then admit defeat. I don't have time to waste with you. Tang Ao couldn't help but shout. Goudabai shivered as if he had just woken up. Sorry. I fell asleep. F***ck. Tang Ao was so angry that he almost vomited blood. I thought you were preparing some shocking move. You made me sunbathe for so long. Come, let me teach you a lesson. As he spoke, the heaven and earth ring was instantly filled with the smell of blood. The 100 Battles spear soul appeared, and Tang Ao stabbed his spear at Goudabai. Goudabai's pupils shrank, and he swallowed the pill given by the elder. Shrill screams filled the entire heaven and earth ring. Goudabai curled up on the stage, clenching his teeth. Sweat beaded on his forehead. Tang Ao's attack paused. What the hell are you doing now? Buzz! The surrounding spirit chi fluctuated, and with Goudabai as the center, it started to gather. Goudabai's screams suddenly stopped, and he sat cross-legged on the ground. His body started to flicker. Tang Ao sensed something strange. The gathering spirit chi actually contained the vitality of a living creature. His expression changed, and he stopped attacking. He held his spear and stared at Goudabai's transformation. The spirit chi within 100 meters became denser, and the airflow became more and more violent. The sand and dust on the stage were all stirred up, and the vision of the audience was blurred. Lin stood up anxiously. He frowned and looked at the stage. Originally, he thought that with Tang Ao, they would be able to suppress his brothers. Who knew which idiot did such a thing? Using the gap in the rules, he allowed a martial artist at the peak of the body refinement realm to break into the origin realm. The first level of the origin realm and the 9th level of the body refinement realm did not only have a difference of one level. More importantly, the degree of spiritual energy manipulation was a level higher than the body refinement realm. More importantly, it was able to use the life force of life. In front of the origin realm, the body refinement realm was as thin as water in front of the origin realm. It would collapse upon contact. If he wanted to defeat those in the origin realm, he had to consume even more true essence. He had to strike out with power that was 2, 3, 4 times stronger than those in the origin realm. Ever since Tang Ao stepped into the 8th tier of the body refining realm, his strength had also increased. Normally, he could strike out with 500 kilograms of strength. If he used the great art of ancient god moving heavens with all his might, he would barely be able to unleash a force of 1,500 pounds. One had to know that a normal person in the body refining realm would be praised by the world if they could unleash a force of 1,500 pounds. Those who could unleash a force of 1,500 pounds were cultivation geniuses. Those who could unleash a force of 1,800 pounds were monstrous and rarely seen in the world. Tang Ao had the peerless hidden jade in stone body. He had the confidence and capital to believe that he could become a rare monstrous genius in the world. Gu Debai's body was filled with balls of true essence. It was as if his entire body was inflated and gradually expanded. From the stands, he looked like a balloon. He will be fine, right? Yuanshao was completely shocked. Such a round body had already surpassed the knowledge of normal people. I'll leave it to fate. The elder secretly sighed. If it wasn't to help Yuanshao obtain the position of the city lord, he would not have taken the risk to let Gu Debai swallow the violet flame pill. This pill was made from 6 precious medicinal ingredients. It was already very violent. It was also refined in the octopole violet flame furnace for 36 days. Only then did it stimulate one's potential and help one break through the shackles of the world. However, after taking this pill, the probability of breaking through was like a hen laying 2 yellow eggs, extremely low. Also, the side effects were extremely great. The person who took it would never be able to break through to the second sky of the origin realm. Some people's cultivation would even regress. They would lose all of their true essence and become a cripple. After another 15 minutes, Gu Debai's swollen body slowly returned to its original state. The surging spirit chi also gradually returned to normal. His entire body was full of vitality. His aura was restrained and not manic, as if he was one with the world. Every movement he made did not cause the slightest ripple in the air. There was a hidden light in his eyes. His beard and hair flew in the air, and the moon-white robe of the heavenly moon sect fluttered without any wind. Borrowing life. Origin realm. Good. Kill that brat. Seeing that Gu Debai had successfully broken through, Yuanshao excitedly waved his arms. The disciples of the heavenly moon sect behind him were also so excited that their faces were red. They secretly waved their fists and cheered for Gu Debai. Although within the sect, the strong looked down on the weak. When facing an enemy, the disciples of the sect would still work together to fight against the outside world. This point, no matter which sect it was well carried forward. Lin and Da's faces were a bit embarrassed and even a bit worried. Although Tang Ao could beat people of the same level, the difference between the origin realm and the body refining realm could not be easily made up. Young master, what should we do now? Otto was a bit panicked. His young master had obtained 3 tokens with great difficulty. In the blink of an eye, he had to give it away. Moreover, he had to give it away. This made him a bit discouraged. Lin patted Da's shoulder and smiled generously. Don't worry. Young Master Tang's life spirit has not been completely released. No one knows how strong he is. Let us continue watching. Lin smiled sadly. Also, we have already fought and eliminated He Yuanjun. Even if we lose, we have gained face. Uncle Ding looked at Lin with gratification and nodded. He felt gratified for his young master's growth. The surrounding crowd was completely stupefied. In the secular world, the origin realm was high up. They were existences that they looked up to. Today, they actually witnessed the birth of an origin realm warrior. Those who originally thought highly of young Master Lin and Tang Ao all started to support young Master He Yuanchao. Some fanboys and girls even directly threw the fan tokens with Lin and Tang Ao's names on them and loudly shouted He Yuanchao's name. Tang Ao held his forehead and smiled. He did not want to argue with the people of the secular world. Don't think that just because you have broken through to the origin realm, you will definitely win. If you break through at the last minute like this, the one who will be hurt will still be you. Gu Debai's voice was hoarse. The light in his eyes was about to shoot out. Don't worry. I only need to defeat you. Tang Ao held his spear and stepped forward. Then let's try. Bo. Chapter 98. Blue Spirit Shining Shield of the 4th Sky. Azure Celestial Rope of the 8th Sky. Bright Moon Rod of the 11th Sky. Senior Gu is so powerful. A disciple from the Heavenly Moon sect yelled. The elder smiled in disdain. He used to be a powerful figure in the Heavenly Moon sect. Too bad his head was injured and his mind was not clear. Otherwise, he would be another powerful figure. Tang Ao was not in the mood to listen to the nonsense of the people on the stage. He focused all of his attention on Gu Debai's every move. Although Gu Debai's life spirit was not as insane as Tang Ao's, the difference in cultivation level could make up for the weakness of his life spirit. Next, it was a battle of familiarity with weapons. Against an origin realm warrior, Tang Ao did not have the time to joke around. He did not dare to be careless. Holding the 100 battle spear soul, the slaughter spear's artistic conception was attached to the spear. Watch out! Gu Debai did not retreat. He controlled the dazzling celestial rope and attacked Tang Ao like a snake. At the same time, the Chu Huidun shrunk to protect his vital parts. Then, he swung the rod at Tang Ao's head. Whoosh whoosh! The rod was like the wind. It smashed through the air and went for Tang Ao's head. Tang Ao was shocked. He quickly put away his 100 battle spear and activated Profound Centipede's kick. His speed instantly increased by 3 times, and he managed to dodge Gu Debai's staff by a hair's breadth. However, he still felt a few staff glares, and they pierced his skin until it turned red. To think that an ordinary and blunt staff could actually produce such a sharp edge in his hands. Tang Ao took the opportunity to increase the distance between him and Gu Debai. An origin realm warrior can borrow vitality. That ray of light just now must have borrowed the essence of plants and then condensed it. Hua! Tang Ao waved his robe, and 2 small swords containing the undying sword will shot out towards Gu Debai. They grew in the wind and turned into 3-feet-long swords, blocking Gu Debai's celestial light rope and sky illuminating rod. While Gu Debai was fighting against the Green Lotus Sword Soul, Tang Ao used his iron steel sand. His body was covered with a layer of black particles, and he raised his 100 battle spear and stabbed towards Gu Debai again. Ding! Dang! Clang! 2 people and 5 weapon souls were locked in a stalemate. The weapon souls clashed with each other, creating sparks from time to time. Fists and palms alternated, creating many afterimages. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. Oh my god! Young Master Tang can actually fight to a draw with an Origin Realm martial artist. That's impossible. Young Master Tang only revealed 2 life souls. Does he only have 2 life souls? The 4 young masters were dumbfounded, their eyeballs almost popping out of their sockets. Yuanchao hiddenly gulped. Didn't you say that as long as you reach the Origin Realm, you can kill Tang Ao? The Heavenly Moon Sect elder was momentarily speechless. The faces of the disciples behind him were filled with disbelief. Some of them even rubbed their eyes. However, this was the truth. Tang Ao, with 2 life souls and 3 Origin Realm martial artists, was evenly matched with Gu Debai. Young Master He Lin was both excited and nervous. He knew that he had found the right person, but when he saw that Tang Ao was in danger from time to time, he clenched his fists and was worried for Tang Ao. The 2 people on the field had already exchanged more than 200 moves. The speed of their attacks was getting faster and faster. Normal people could barely see the 2's figures. They could only hear the continuous sounds of fighting coming from all directions of the field. The more Tang Ao fought, the more shocked he became. His invisible jade and stone body was already circulating at a rapid pace. The acupoints within his body shone with dazzling light, and the layer of iron steel sand covering his body grew over a dozen times. However, he originally wanted to use Gu Debai to test his own strength, so he did not plan to summon the 8 treasure goose plume sword soul. The more Gu Debai fought, the more excited he became. He was originally a simple-minded person. For someone to be able to exchange blows with him was one of the happiest things in his life. Therefore, his attacks became fiercer and fiercer, and his strength became greater and greater. His strength was approaching 1,400 pounds. No. This idiot is getting more and more excited, and his strength is also increasing. The speed of the iron steel sand covering is starting to slow down. Tang Ao borrowed Gu Debai's illuminating sky rod and suddenly jumped away, landing far away. It's about time to try. I need to use all my strength to have a chance of beating him. Hua! Another wave of spiritual energy came. The green lotus sword soul above Tang Ao's head, the spear of slaughter in his left hand, and the 8 treasure goose plume sword in his right. The ancient god moves the heavens was quickly activated. His aura once again climbed to a new peak, and he was actually evenly matched with Gu Debai. How is this possible? 8 treasure goose plume sword soul. The surrounding crowd was shocked again. He is actually evenly matched with a warrior of the Origin Realm. He is only at the 8th level of the body tempering realm. No wonder he can beat up a warrior at the 9th level of the body tempering realm. Brother Shu is mighty. There were also people cheering loudly, cheering for Tang Ao. Yuanchao jumped up from the spectator stand, his eyes wide open. How is this possible? The elder also had a face of disbelief. No wonder this brat can take Waping's attack head-on. He really does have this strength. Gu Debai's voice was hoarse. Very good. This is the best way to fight. Just as he finished speaking, Gu Debai quickly gathered the surrounding life force, and used his spiritual will to control the rod and shield rope to attack Tang Ao. Tang Ao did not panic in the face of danger. He was calm and composed. Holding the spear and the blade, a green lotus bloomed above his head, and the invincible sword body swam around his body, radiating light in all directions. Activating mysterious centipede kick, with a bang, the stone slabs under his feet cracked, and Tang Ao used the force to shoot out. Bang! 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 The 2 of them fought again, and their figures disappeared from the Qiankuan ring. But from time to time, 1 or 2 rays of light shot out, revealing the 2's position. The stone floor under their feet was shaken by thousands of pounds of force, and Tang Ao and Gu Debai were hit down from time to time, creating large holes on the stone floor. Yuan's shocked face gradually turned gloomy. Tang Ao's strength had exceeded his expectations. If he let him go on like this, all the 17 tokens would be taken by He Lin sooner or later. Immediately, He Yuanza waved his hand, and the lean man listened to the order, nodded, and left. He Lin could not stay calm again. First, he was shocked by Tang Ao's strength, and second, the two of them were evenly matched. If someone provoked Tang Ao later, he was afraid that Tang Ao would not be able to fight back. The contestants were not anxious, but the spectators were as anxious as ants on a hot pan. Unexpectedly, Tang Ao still had the mind to pay attention to the movements in the stands. Every move just now was seen by Tang Ao. In reality, Tang Ao had already figured out Gu Debai's fighting style. Although the people of Heavenly Moon sect found a warrior at the peak of the body refining realm, his brain was not very good. He only met force with force and did not know any fighting technique. In other words, he had forgotten how to fight. Chapter 99. He Lin and the others saw Tang Ao's playful smile and immediately broke out in a cold sweat. They thought to themselves, it's over. This idiot is probably going to fall into Tang Ao's trap again. As expected, Tang Ao flipped a few times and jumped to the edge of the ring of heaven and earth. He extended his hand and waved, "Come on, idiot." Goodbye was in high spirits, so how could he just give up? He controlled the 3 weapon spirits and attacked Tang Ao. His power was like the tide and he was like lightning. Tang Ao, on the other hand, was as calm as if he was taking a stroll in the park. He was not afraid of Goodbye's fierce attacks at all. The distance between the two was getting closer and closer. Goodbye's eyes let out a red light and the speed at which he controlled his weapon spirits became faster and faster. Now, when the two were so close that Tang Ao could even feel the bone-piercing sharpness of the bright moon illuminating sky rod, Tang Ao's body roared. The great art of the ancient god moves the heavens was suddenly activated and the mysterious centipede kick was added to his body. Whoosh! Goodbye's vision blurred and Tang Ao's figure disappeared. He was stunned for a moment and wanted to stop, but he was already standing at the edge of the ring of heaven and earth. He slipped and rushed out. Tang Ao, you are despicable and shameless. He Yuanchao was furious. He pointed at Tang Ao and cursed. The elite disciples of the Heavenly Moon sect behind him were also extremely angry. One after another, they began to criticize Tang Ao. In their eyes, a martial artist at the Origin Realm was already ahead above Tang Ao in terms of cultivation. However, Tang Ao used Gu Debai's simple and honest nature and used a scheme to win against Gu Debai. Tang Ao had a face full of disdain. He pointed at He Yuanchao's seat and said, "You bullied him because he was simple and honest. You used medicinal pellets to help him break through to the Origin Realm to fight with me. He has no hope of advancing anymore. You are the most despicable ones." When these words came out, the crowd was in an uproar. So despicable. So he used medicinal pellets. A bunch of shameless bastards. They even caused my cultivation base to be sealed. This kind of person doesn't deserve to fight for the position of City Lord. He should be kicked out. Yes, scram. Get down. The angry crowd waved their arms and shouted, expressing their dissatisfaction. As the eldest young master, He Yuanza stood up. Everyone, calm down. Everyone, please calm down. There were still many flaws in the Universe Rings competition. The City Lord's manor would change the rules again to make it more fair. Regarding this competition, we have unanimously decided to stop the competition after discussing it. We will continue the competition after the new selection rules are formulated tomorrow. The spectators reluctantly left. Some sighed, some were dissatisfied. The thrilling battles were a feast for the eyes. Tang Ao put away his life soul, still looking as relaxed as ever. This infuriated He Yuanchao and the others. The elder of the Heavenly Moon sect thought for a while and said in a low voice, When the competition is over, I will personally go. As he said this, he made a chopping gesture. Yuan Chao smiled sinisterly. Remember to do it quickly. Don't let anyone find out. Yes. On the other side, Tang Ao shivered. Why do I have a creepy feeling? He rubbed his nose, ignored him, and went straight back to his own restaurant. Tang Ao showed off his skills in the universe ring and became famous. His 3 life souls had already been exposed, so he had to increase his strength one step further. Tang Ao ate something and enjoyed listening to the praises and discussions of the common people. He also had a helpless expression. People are afraid of being famous as pigs are afraid of being fat. Returning to his room, Tang Ao closed his eyes and sank into cultivation. After the battle with the Origin Realm martial artist, Tang Ao had some thoughts. Although he had comprehended the Spear of Slaughter, he did not have a suitable spear technique. The 7-kill art of slaughter needed to completely gather all 7 weapons in order to display its power. He had to speed up the cultivation and comprehension of the spear technique. May I ask if young Master Tang is here? A clear voice came from outside the door. I am Lao Tianyu. My young master sent me here to discuss something with you. Oh? Please come in. Tang Ao lowered his head and pondered. He was very confused. Could it be that my performance was too dazzling and some young master came to rope me in? Tang Ao was a little devil after all, so he still had this bit of thinking ability. Soon, a tall and thin figure walked in. His aura was restrained and he walked with great strength. With one look, one could tell that he had extraordinary strength. I am Lao Tianyu. I am under the orders of my young master Yuanza to discuss something with you. Tang Ao was calm and crossed his legs. Don't beat around the bush. If you have something to say it quickly. I am tired and want to rest. Lao Tianyu saw Tang Ao like this and felt somewhat unhappy. Who was he? Tianza? He was the young master of Water Pearl City. He had many cultivators under him and a large number of outstanding and capable martial artists. No matter where Lao Tianyu went, he was treated with respect and treated as a distinguished guest. Unlike Tang Ao, who was so rude that he did not even look at him. My young master said that if you can help my young master ascend to the City Lord's throne, he will definitely not mistreat young Master Tang. Oh? If I help Yuanza obtain the position of the Patriarch, how will he repay me? What does young master want? Water Pearl City's subsidiary 7 kills sect. 40% of the annual tribute. Lao Tianyu's face darkened. Young master, please don't joke. This Water Pearl City is only an inch big. Other than the tribute to the Empire, we also have to pay for the city's guards, the city's repairs and other expenses. If there is a war, we still have to borrow money. How can we take out 40% of the income to pay tribute to 7 kills sect? If you don't have 40%, then forget about it. Tang Ao turned his head and looked at the scenery outside the window, no longer paying attention to Lao Tianyu. Lao Tianyu gradually became angry. My young master has a large number of martial artists with high cultivation following him. The position of the city lord will be his sooner or later. Young master, don't cast pearls before swine and ruin your future. Comparing the strength of this He Lin and my young master, I hope that young master will carefully consider who is stronger. If my young master becomes the city lord, then don't. Lao Tianyu wanted to say something but hesitated. There was no threat in his words, but the threatening intent was overwhelming. Tang Ao's expression was cold. He looked at Lao Tianyu coldly. His aura suddenly burst out, and his clothes fluttered without any wind. You are threatening me. Lao Tianyu snorted coldly and said arrogantly, Young master has a high cultivation. How would I dare? Kneel down and kowtow in apology. Otherwise, I will kill my way to Yuanza's mansion and twist his head off to use as a chamber pot. With a thought, the 100 battles spear soul appeared above Tang Ao's head. The slaughter spear intent was attached to the spear, and a thick smell of blood spread out. Lao Tianyu was not to be outdone. I have long heard that young master has a peerless fate spirit. Today, I must learn from you. Above Yang Kai's head, 3 fate spirits appeared. Sorry. Take this. Chapter 100. Layers of shadows were pushed out from the palm of the iron steel grit, and with the mysterious centipede kick, Tang Ao's legs became incorporeal. Pa! Lao Tianyu released all his life spirits, but he lost the chance to defend himself, and was kicked by Tang Ao. His body was sent flying through the wooden window, and fell on the street. Tang Ao immediately jumped off the building and chased after Lao Tianyu, but Lao Tianyu had already run far away. Asking for trouble. Tang Ao was observing the direction in which Lao Tianyu escaped, but he suddenly shivered. This feeling was like walking in the forest and being watched by a wolf. Not good. I'm afraid I'm being watched. Tang Ao looked calm on the surface, but in fact, he was very surprised. He had never done anything devoid of conscience, so why was he being targeted by others? Maybe it was because he had beaten up a few people in the past 2 days, and their master was not happy. Thinking of this, Tang Ao felt very helpless. Not only did they compete in the universe ring, but they also brought it to the stage. Old Lin said that the relationships in Waterdrop City are complicated, and he was not exaggerating. Tang Ao strolled leisurely on the street, looking left and right. Coupled with his gorgeous robe and handsome face, the passers-by really thought that he was some rich playboy. In fact, Tang Ao had been very tense, looking around, and paying attention to every move of the passers-by, and immediately running away if anything happened. Tang Ao did not believe that his invisible jade body in stone and mysterious centipede kick would not be able to get rid of him, and he might even be able to take the opportunity to kill him. The cold feeling behind him grew stronger, and Tang Ao became more and more playboy, and more roguish. He adjusted his breathing to this girl and asked about that girl. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the east gate of Waterdrop City. The 12 gates of Waterdrop City led directly to the most prosperous and frequent 12 cities and regions. Naturally, it was quite spacious and gorgeous, and there was still room for a dozen carriages to go side by side. Tang Ao aimed at an empty BMW with dragons and phoenixes carved on it, and lightly jumped on it without a trace of Zhen Yuan. His movements were as fast as the wind, and almost no one noticed him. The coachman did not know anything about it and drove out of the city. After a long time, a black shadow flashed out from the darkness of the city wall. A pair of cold-blooded wolf-like eyes glanced around the city gate before disappearing into the darkness again. 20 miles away from the east gate was a forest. Starting from there, the road was no longer solid and flat, and became full of potholes. The forest was lush, and the tree trunks were as thick as pillars. On one of the big trees, Tang Ao was lying down with his legs crossed, enjoying his time. "So you're here? What? Aren't you going to continue running?" A black shadow flashed out from the shadow of a tree trunk not far away. The voice was hoarse, like the sound of sharp metal objects rubbing against each other. Tang Ao leisurely hummed an unknown tune. "Naturally, I need to rest when I'm tired of running. Moreover, even if I'm going to die, I want to know why I'm going to die." The black shadow laughed. "Don't worry. When you're dead, I'll slowly tell you." As it spoke, the black shadow disappeared. Whoosh! When it reappeared, it landed right below the branch that Tang Ao was on. Tang Ao was still calm in the face of danger, borrowing life force, divine ability to hide. "I don't know which young master really thinks highly of me, to actually send an Origin Realm martial artist to assassinate me." The black shadow shouted, "Take this!" As it spoke, the black shadow made a finger seal with its right hand, manipulating the life force of the trees to condense into a few greenish-brown nails, which shot towards Tang Ao. The flying wooden nails did not stir up the air, nor did they make any sound of breaking the air. They flew straight, and were almost twice as fast as the hidden weapons thrown by the body-refining realm martial artist. Tang Ao seemed to be indifferent, but in reality, he had been watching his every move. When he was about to throw, Tang Ao had already used the mysterious centipede kick and jumped onto another tree. Bang! As soon as Tang Ao left, the wooden nail behind him hit the place where he was just lying, creating a small hole that was about an inch wide. The wooden nail was condensed from life force, and under the control of the Black Shadow, once it hit, it would immediately explode. Its power was extraordinary. Tang Ao wanted to test himself against an Origin Realm martial artist again to see the difference between him and the Origin Realm. Although Gu Debai was also an Origin Realm martial artist, he had broken through at the last minute and had not fully used his life force yet. In terms of strength, he was a little bit weaker than a real Origin Realm martial artist. Moreover, he was simple and honest, and did not know how to combine skills and strength. So, Tang Ao's estimation of Gu Debai was somewhat off. Buzz buzz. The spirit energy around Tang Ao fluctuated, and then, whoosh whoosh whoosh, 3 life spirits appeared. The life spirits turned from nothingness to substance, and they flew up and down around Tang Ao. On top of his head, a green lotus spun, emitting a peaceful immortal aura. In his left hand, he held the green lotus sword that was born from the green lotus, and in his right hand, he held the 100 battle spear soul. The spear's intent of the slaughter spear was added to the spear's body, and the smell of blood rushed towards him. Green lotus sword soul. And it even has the indestructible sword soul. No wonder you have such amazing battle power. The Black Shadow said coldly, however, all of this will be buried with you. Tang Ao took a deep breath. Whether or not I will be buried with you, I will only know after I try. Watch my spear. The slaughter spear drew a strange arc, breaking through layers of air barriers, as if it was going to destroy everything, and attacked the Black Shadow. Although the spear's body was rusty, the spearhead was full of blood, and it was still shining with a cold light. Good boy. The black-clothed man did not reveal his life spirit. Instead, he took out a slender soft sword. The sword's body was engraved with diamond patterns, and there was a bright green pearl on the sword's hilt. With one look, one could tell that the quality was extraordinary. The spear and the sword clashed, and sparks flew in all directions. The sharp sound of metal clashing was ear-piercing. With just one move, Tang Ao was shocked. From the soft sword came layers of huge power, through the 100 battle spear soul to his hand. Even the 100 battle spear soul was hit until it was flickering, and it almost fell out of his hand. Damn. I thought it was only a little bit more. I didn't expect the gap to be so big. This guy's strength is at least 20,000 pounds, and he threw me 4,000 pounds. My God! Tang Ao was shocked again. I have to use the ancient god moving sky magic to make up for it. Otherwise, even if I am not killed by him, I will be shocked to death by his huge strength. Calculating in his heart, Tang Ao quickly activated the ancient god moving sky magic. Suddenly, Tang Ao felt a warm flow in his meridians, and his muscles swelled. With a light clench, he could have dozens of pounds of strength. Again, Tang Ao roared, raised the slaughter spear, and waved the green lotus sword, fighting with the Black Shadow in close combat. Chapter 101. You'll have to be able to kill me first. Watch my spear. The Black Shadow's strength rose steadily and finally reached 24,000 pounds. On the other hand, Tang Ao's strength had also reached a shocking 21,000 pounds with the continuous operation of the ancient god moving sky technique. So my current limit is 21,000 pounds of strength. After exchanging dozens of blows with the Black Shadow, Tang Ao had a new estimation of his strength. Fortunately, the Black Shadow was using a soft sword, which consumed a lot of power transmission. Fortunately, Tang Ao had practiced the iron-steel sand to the 6th stage of the tremor formula, which offset a lot of the damage. Otherwise, Tang Ao's bones and tendons would have been broken. Even so, Tang Ao's arms were sore and numb. His arms, which were holding the spear and sword, were gradually numb and losing feeling. No. If this continues, his life spirit will definitely be knocked away, and he will take the opportunity to kill me. He was gradually in a disadvantageous position, and his attacks were gradually weakening. Tang Ao was anxious. The Black Shadow was also very surprised. He thought that Tang Ao had only used some elixir to temporarily increase his cultivation and would recover after a while. He did not expect that after exchanging more than 10 blows with him, not only did his strength not weaken, but it had also gradually increased by a few thousand pounds. With the help of the exchange, the two separated and stood on 2 tall trees, staring at each other coldly. Whoosh! Whoosh! A multicolored tiger soul and a golden saber suddenly appeared above the Black Shadow's head. I didn't want to use my life spirit. Your strength is beyond my expectations, but it's still over. Roar! The multicolored tiger soul pounced, saliva flowing from its mouth. Although it was a life spirit, its ferocity was no different from a real one. The Black Shadow followed closely behind the multicolored tiger, manipulating the golden saber soul and slashing at Tang Ao. The saber soul's radiance suddenly soared, and the golden light was dazzling. Not good. Tang Ao leaped into the air and hit the multicolored tiger soul's head with his spear. Then, using the recoil force, he leaped into the air again and stabbed at the Black Shadow with his spear. At the same time, the green lotus sword guarded his left and right sides, forming a pincer attack. Bang! The saber and spear collided, emitting a thunder-like sound that shook the birds in the distance and caused them to fly away. When the two collided, the difference of 3,000 jin became a heavenly mote, causing Tang Ao to fly backward. Little brat, you're still too young to compete with me in strength, the Black Shadow said in a hoarse voice. He was somewhat pleased with himself as he leaped forward and chased after Chu Yang. Tang Ao smiled playfully. Really? Then have a taste of this. As he spoke, he flicked his finger, and a black pill the size of a pebble flew toward the shadow. The Black Shadow was stunned for a moment. He reached out to catch the pill and laughed. What? You don't have any skills and want to use a pill to get rid of me? Explode. Tang Ao's mind moved. Boom. With a bang, everything within a radius of 100 feet was razed to the ground. A crater dozens of meters wide appeared on the ground, and the ground was burnt black by the enormous energy. The Black Shadow was blown to the point where it was hard to find a trace of it. A foot-thick layer of ash had accumulated in the big pit. It was unknown whether a skeleton could be pieced together from it. Oh ho! Amazing! Tang Ao walked out from behind a tree trunk that required 5 or 6 people to wrap their arms around. He looked at the barren land in front of him and was shocked by the power of the exploding pill. This old Lin is not bad. He gave me such a powerful protective artifact. I'll ask him for a few more when I get back. Achoo! Far away in 7 Kills sect, Lin Jiang sneezed inexplicably and rubbed his nose. What's going on? Did I catch a cold? At this moment, if he knew what Tang Ao was thinking, he would probably pick him up and give him a good beating. Tang Ao walked to the center of the big pit. The barren land in front of him made him sigh. TSK, what a pity. You said you were courting death and even destroyed the scenery. Serves you right for not even having a corpse left. Tang Ao looked carefully in the pile of dust. A shiny object attracted his attention. Tang Ao found a wooden stick and picked that object up to examine it carefully. This was a silver and jade ring. Under the mottled sunlight in the forest, it reflected a dazzling light. There were unknown symbols carved on the ring, and they seemed to be swimming around the ring. This can't be a storage ring, right? Tang Ao looked at this ring with some doubt. He had seen similar rings on his father, Tang Zhan, and he had also seen similar rings on Lin Jiang. He immediately confirmed that this was a storage ring. Tang Ao's divine sense passed through the ring and arrived in a strange space. The space was only a few dozen feet in size. There were some gold and silver treasures scattered in the corners. There was a wooden bookshelf at the side, and secret manuals were arranged neatly. This discovery made Tang Ao smile. Good, good, good. I didn't expect this guy to have so many good things. They are all mine. Earth Wolf Fang Technique. A technique exclusive to the Wolf Fang technique. There are 8 levels in total. At the end of it, you can split mountains. Not interested? Tang Ao looked at it and threw it far away. Soul Capturing Saber. At the end of it, you can split the clouds and cut the moon. Interesting. I can make do with the 7 kill art before I learn it. Tiger Form Fist. A fist technique that imitates the form of a fierce tiger. The power is layered, and the final strike can split mountains. Tianzi Dragon Slaying Art. 4 Symbols Earth Shaking Art. Ha 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 ha. Tang Ao laughed presumptuously. This way, he could first practice the 7 weapons before learning the 7 kill art. When the time came, he only needed to find the 7 weapon life spirits, and he could practice directly. Tang Ao looked around and found a herb cabinet on the other side. Some urgent medicinal herbs could be found here. In a lower cabinet, Tang Ao found a cabinet full of bottles and jars. Damn! This little tycoon, how many good things is he hiding? Using his divine sense to investigate, he was shocked. More than a dozen bottles were stuffed full of medicinal pills. There were circulation pills, spirit-gathering pills, and so on. Not only were there a lot of them, but the quality of the medicinal pills was also pretty good. They were round in color, exquisitely carved, and exuded a refreshing fragrance. Tang Ao roughly checked and hid the storage ring. After all, he was in the outer realm and could not expose his wealth, especially something like a storage ring, which was extremely rare in the secular world. Among thousands of people, the number of people who could find a storage ring could not be more than one hand. I have to hurry back. There was such a loud noise in this place, and the flames soared to the sky. There will definitely be people coming to investigate. It's better to leave first. Activating the mysterious centipede kick, Tang Ao disappeared into the horizon. Not long after Tang Ao left, there were people coming to investigate. They wore gray robes with a crescent moon embroidered on their chests. They were the disciples of the Heavenly Moon sect beside He Yuanchao. Chapter 102. Senior Qilin, it should be around here. The last place Elder Yang revealed was here. A disciple in charge of communication reported to him. Qilin didn't say anything. She squatted down and picked up some charred soil to sniff. Her face immediately turned pale. There was a trace of medicinal fragrance after the explosion. It should be the explosion pill. I'm afraid Elder Yang is in grave danger. What should we do? Without Elder Yang's command, how can we help young Master He Yuanchao? The disciples discussed. What are you panicking for? Qilin was a bit dissatisfied. At a time like this, we need to be calm. Gao Guang, contact the sect. Other disciples, carefully search this area. Don't let go of any clues. Yes. Tang Ao hummed an unknown song as he leisurely strolled on the street. This time, no one chased after him, so naturally, he leisurely strolled here and there. After a long time, he finally returned to the restaurant. Closing his eyes, Tang Ao once again went on a mental journey. He fought against 2 Origin Realm martial artists with real swords and spears. That was extremely beneficial for his breakthroughs. Under high pressure, an indescribable potential would be stimulated. Tang Ao took a deep breath. First, he operated the ancient god moving the heavens. After one cycle, Tang Ao immediately felt his blood and qi filling up. His entire body was filled with strength. Right now, Tang Ao's first level of cultivation, blood and qi, was almost done. Now, he only lacked a breakthrough. Good. I'm starting to break through to the ninth heaven. In his dantian, the hazy ball of light gradually emitted light. It quickly gathered with the mouthful of qi that Tang Ao swallowed. At that moment, the light became even more dazzling. Tang Ao grasped the opportunity and quickly broke through the shackles of heaven and earth, heading towards the ninth heaven. After successfully breaking through, Tang Ao let out a long breath. Now, I just have to wait for the mayor's office to make new rules for the competition tomorrow. This is really interesting. To target me, they changed the rules twice. Are they not afraid of the world saying that they are fickle? Without thinking further, Tang Ao began to recite the other two manuals that Lin Jiang had given him, Ice Crystal Sword and Ancient Spirit Finger. The power of these two secret manuals was exaggerated by Lin Jiang. It was really not easy to cultivate. As the saying goes, there is no sun or moon in the mountains. It means that one would forget the passage of time while doing something. Just like the current Tang Ao, he was completely engrossed in cultivation, unable to extricate himself. It was already the second day. Learning and cultivating really makes people happy. Tang Ao recalled what he had learned that night. Ice Crystal Sword and Ancient Spirit Finger were both at the small success stage. He no longer needed to rely solely on his life spirit to fight. What a pity! There was not a single spear technique manual that was suitable for the slaughter spear soul. Or else I would really dare to fight to the death against the origin realm. Tang Ao was a bit regretful that he could not find a suitable spear technique from the pile of treasures in the Black Shadow. As soon as he left the restaurant, Lin walked in with Ada and Uncle Ding. "Ah, young Master Tang. Thank you, young Master Tang, for helping me win the competition yesterday. I have prepared some small gifts, I hope young Master Tang will like them." Young Master must be joking. Since I have promised young Master to become the mayor, I will definitely do my best and will not go back on my word. Oh right, what are the rules of today's competition? Tang Ao said a few polite words and asked about the competition. Today, the City Lord's mansion has issued an order. From noon today, the 4 young masters will each lead 4 attendants to the Heavenly Cloud Mountains, 100 miles southwest of Water Pearl City, to hunt. They must return before sunset. The one who catches the most valuable prey will be the winner and will become the next City Lord. Hunting, Tang Ao said in a low voice. Young Master, don't worry. I will do my best to help young Master become the mayor. Lin was in high spirits. Young Master Tang, you don't have to stand on ceremony. Yesterday, young Master Tang helped me teach Yuanjun a lesson. It made me feel very happy. Today we don't have to be too hard on ourselves. We just need to do our best. Without saying much, Lin led Tang Ao to put on his hunting clothes and the carved bow. They followed the crowd and gathered at the West Gate. The West Gate was already packed with people who had come to watch the excitement. A high platform was built in the open space outside the city, and 7 judges dressed in luxurious clothes stood high above it. Everyone, today is a good day for the City Lord election. The person who brings back the most valuable prey will win and take over the position of the next City Lord. It's noon. As soon as the announcer finished speaking, Yuenza and Yueni led their followers and rushed toward the Cloud Mountains. Young Master, I will go in front to clear the way. Young Master, just follow me slowly. Tang Ao touched his body and activated his Mystic Valley kick. After greeting Lin, he also ran toward the mountain range. The first time I entered the forbidden area, I leveled up 3 realms and learned the killing spear. I wonder how it will be this time. I'm a little excited. Thinking about it, Tang Ao quickened his pace. Although Yuenza and Yueni set off later, Tang Ao gradually caught up. He saw the two young masters leading their followers and running on the main road, dust flying behind them. Seeing that he was about to catch up, Tang Ao deliberately slowed down. If I overtake them, they will definitely be alerted. They might even join forces to suppress me. It's better to be careful. 2 hours later, Hyuenza was the first to reach the forest of the Cloud Mountains. 11th, I'm going in first. Hyuenza deliberately shouted loudly to show off his extraordinary strength. A moment later, the 11th young master, Hyueni, also reached the forest. He snorted, "Let's go too." The Cloud Mountains were the main mountain range in this area. The peak of the Cloud Mountains was surrounded by clouds all year round. The forest was rich in resources, supporting hundreds of thousands of people in the vicinity. Before long, Tang Ao led young master He Lin and his group to the foot of the Cloud Mountains. This is the Cloud Mountains. Danger lurks everywhere in the forest. Everyone be careful. Tang Ao, who had experience living in the forest, repeatedly warned He Lin, Ada, and the others. Only then did he feel assured and lead the group into the forest. Outside the forest, the sun was shining brightly. Once inside, the sky darkened. The naked eye could only see a few dozen feet around them. Beyond that, it was a patch of dusk. The forest was damp and cold, and venomous snakes and pests would come out from time to time. If not for the fact that the group was extremely vigilant, they probably would have died here before they had even entered. There were only some weak wild beasts on the outskirts of the forest. They were equivalent to the first or second tier of the body refining realm. These were useless to them, and Tang Ao and the others naturally did not bother with them. A little aura was enough to scare them away. After walking for a while, they realized that the trees they encountered were getting thicker and thicker. There were fewer wild beasts, but their strength was also getting higher. Chapter 103. Tang Ao and his team moved forward cautiously. The trees were getting thicker and thicker, and the trunks they encountered were getting thicker and thicker. Because they went too deep into the forest, they didn't encounter many exotic beasts. But if they did encounter one, it would definitely be a very powerful existence that would make Tang Ao and his team flustered. Tang Ao led the way in front, leading the team into the depths of the forest. To find the most valuable exotic beasts, they had to keep moving forward in order to have a chance of encountering them. Lower your breath to the lowest level, so as not to attract the attention of other exotic beasts. Tang Ao had rich experience in living in the forest, so he reminded He Lin and Ada about the places they should pay attention to. Wait! Tang Ao suddenly stopped the team. They stopped and stood back to back, looking around vigilantly. In front of them, there was a clear line of paw prints leading to the depths of the forest. Not far from the tree trunk, there was an animal's carcass that had been eaten to the bones. He squatted down and carefully examined the characteristics of the paw prints and the teeth marks on the animal carcass. He said, "There is a thick layer of dead branches and leaves in this area, and this line of paw prints is very deep. There are obvious marks of sharp claws on the place where the toe bone is. Judging from the marks on the carcass, there is at least such a hole. It is very likely to be an exotic beast like tiger or wolf." Tang Ao roughly measured it. It was a mouth the size of a well and a paw print the size of a human's face. F***ck. Ada was startled. He held his breath even more for fear of being discovered by the exotic beast. Don't panic. If the exotic beast appears, we will fight it if we can beat it. If we can't, we will split up and meet up outside the forest. Now follow behind me, and Ada will follow behind young master. We will explore our way slowly. Tang Ao was calm and ordered the team to move forward in an orderly manner. Let's hold on a little longer. We will reach the foot of the mountain in about 2 miles. That is the final destination of our hunt. All the precious beasts are there. Tang Ao guided the team in front and encouraged them to move forward bravely. Roar! A deafening roar of a tiger came from the depths of the forest, and there was a fishy smell in the air. Tang Ao and the other two shivered instantly. They stared ahead and did not dare to move. Wait here, I'll go take a look. Tang Ao executed Mystic Valley Kick. His legs stepped on the air repeatedly before he landed lightly on the trunk of a tree. Roar! Just as he jumped up, the shrubs in front of him rustled. A tiger beast that was even bigger than a 4-horse carriage jumped out from the carriage. Its whole body was covered in brown and yellow patterns, and its terrifying fangs were exposed in the air, emitting a chilling light that could take one's soul away. It's here. It's the 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger. He Lin was so frightened that he panicked, but he could still distinguish the species in front of him. This 9 Extinction Black Tiger was different from other tiger species. It had 2 fangs that were more than 10 inches long. With a single fang, it could pierce through an adult. What was even more extraordinary was that the 9 Extinction Black Tiger could grow 9 tails. With every increase in cultivation level, 1 more tail would appear. At different stages, the color of the tail would also be different. This was the 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger with 9 white tails that occasionally had a hint of gold. It was equivalent to a human martial artist at the 9th tier of the body refining realm. The mouth of the tiger, which was like the mouth of a well, dripped with stinky saliva from time to time. The huge tiger paws paced back and forth between each step forward and backward. Evil beast! Watch my spear! Tang Ao suddenly roared. With a thought, the 100 battle spear soul appeared in his hands. He held it with both hands and stabbed at the back of the 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger. The 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger seemed to have sensed something. Its huge body leaped slightly, easily dodging Tang Ao's sneak attack. It roared at He Lin and Ada, young master. Please be careful. Ada, follow me. Tang Ao turned his head and instructed He Lin to take care of himself. At the same time, he called Ada over to assist him. You and I will attack from the left and the back. Yes, young master. The light above his head twisted a few times, and 3 saber-type life spirits appeared. They jumped to the left of the 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger and waited. Mutated beasts were different from humans. Although their cultivation levels were the same, the physical strength of beasts far exceeded that of martial artists of the same level. It was at least 5,000 to 4,000 pounds of strength. Moreover, beasts had thick skin and flesh. Their resistance was also 3 to 4 times that of martial artists of the same level. Therefore, Tang Ao did not dare to be careless. He put away his usual teasing attitude and focused on dealing with the 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger in front of him. Roar! The 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger seemed to be unable to control its temper and attacked Tang Ao first. In his eyes, one's size determined one's strength. Tang Ao was young, and his body looked a bit bigger than Ada Good. Tang Ao did not panic. He took a step forward and aimed his spear at the Mystic Tiger's chin. If he was really stabbed, his head would definitely be penetrated. However, the 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger twisted its tail and attacked Tang Ao. The direction of its landing also changed. On the other side, Ada was just about to slash at the back. Who knew that the 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger would suddenly turn its head, giving him a fright. As a result, the blade also missed its target. The 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger actually raised its steel claw that was the size of an adult's head and took the slash. This time, both sides did not succeed in their attack. They immediately adjusted their position and pulled a certain distance away from the 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger. The 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger shook its huge head and snorted. Its front claws kept rubbing on the ground, and its 9 tails swayed left and right. It seemed to be accumulating power and preparing for the next round of attack. Hoo-hoo! The tiger's might was like the wind. The Mystic Tiger leaped into the air again and pounced towards Tang Ao. The huge steel claw reflected a frightening cold light. Tang Ao cursed his bad luck and thought about how to deal with it after killing it. The 100 battle spear soul in his hand trembled. Tang Ao also leaped into the air and clashed with the 9 absolute mystic tiger. Bang! The 100 battle spear soul smashed onto the tiger's head, but it was like hitting steel. The huge recoil caused Tang Ao's hands to go numb. He almost couldn't hold the spear. Damn! This thing's head is really hard. Tang Ao adjusted his state and stabbed at the mystic tiger again. At the same time, Ada approached the mystic tiger's body. The 3 saber-type life souls slashed at the mystic tiger's waist. However, the defense of the mystic tiger's skin was astonishing. Dozens of slashes only left a few faint white marks. He Lin watched the thrilling battle between man and beast from the side. His palms were covered in sweat from nervousness. He didn't even blink, afraid that he would miss a wonderful moment. This tiger beast's defense is almost as strong as my iron steel sand. Tang Ao couldn't do anything to the mystic tiger. Similarly, the mystic tiger couldn't do anything to the 2 of them. However, the mystic tiger was unwilling to give up the prey in front of it. Both sides were evenly matched and in a stalemate. Young Master Tang. The mystic tiger's weakness is in its abdomen. He Lin observed for a long time and hinted to Tang Ao and Ada, bringing a turning point to the stalemate. So that's how it is. Tang Ao raised his essence and rushed forward. Ada, let's attack this beast's abdomen with all our might. The 2 of them joined forces and attacked the mystic tiger's abdomen from different directions. At first, the mystic tiger was able to block them one by one. However, as the 2 of them attacked faster and faster, the mystic tiger seemed to be struggling. Its abdomen was hit by Tang Ao and Ada from time to time, causing blood to gush out. Roar! Chapter 104. Phew! Tang Ao sat on the ground and let out a long sigh. If we continue to fight, I will be exhausted to death by this beast. This battle didn't consume much spiritual qi, but it consumed a lot of physical strength. The hunting group had to stop for a rest. Among the 4 hunting groups, only He Lin's group didn't have enough people. Naturally, the hunting speed would be much slower. Therefore, Tang Ao didn't plan to win with strength at the beginning. Young Master, we need to hunt a giant python that is as strong as this black tiger, and then we can go back to report. Anyway, it's getting late and we don't have much time left. Tang Ao told He Lin his idea at the moment. Yes. 2 strange beasts at the 9th level of the body refining realm. Demon Dawn and Flesh are very valuable. Seeing that Tang Ao had his own idea, He Lin didn't ask any more questions. Young Master do you know what kind of strange beasts there are? We are in the outer part of the center. If we go a little further, we will see the red moon blood python, the silver-horned black python, and the most famous one is the sky-piercing snake. It is said that this snake has a delicate body and extraordinary ability. It can travel through space. I don't know if it's true. He Lin recalled what he had seen and heard and introduced them to Tang Ao one by one. Yes. Let's go there and see. We don't have much time. Let's hunt whatever we find. Tang Ao patted his butt and showed his 100 battles spear soul, leading the way in front of the group. The lack of manpower became the biggest constraint of He Lin's group. Therefore, the only thing Tang Ao could do was to hunt some precious strange beasts as much as possible. But the rare strange beasts were usually very strong. Some of them even had spiritual intelligence and were very cunning. As the sun gradually set, the view in the jungle became narrower and narrower. The reduced visibility brought some inconvenience to Tang Ao and the others. Although he looked calm, Tang Ao was very anxious in his heart. After killing the black tiger, they hadn't met any big strange beasts along the way. Hiss! Tang Ao suddenly became alert. The sound that came out of nowhere made their hearts beat faster. The air was filled with a fishy smell. Drip! A drop of unknown liquid dripped on Ada's face. It's raining? Ada was a little confused. He was about to raise his head, but Tang Ao and He Lin grabbed his arms tightly. Tang Ao stood there stiffly, but his eyeballs kept rolling upward, indicating something. Ada slowly raised his head. What he saw made him regret raising his head. A red python as thick as a pillar was coiled around a thick branch, spitting out its black-red tongue. Its lantern-sized eyes revealed its desire for flesh and blood. Red moon blood python. Furthermore, it was a hungry red moon blood python. Tang Ao took advantage of the fact that the blood python's attention was focused on Ada to secretly circulate the mysterious valley kick and the great art of ancient god moving. His legs suddenly exerted force, and the tip of the spear arrived before the blood python in the blink of an eye. It was another intense battle. The blood python was huge, and its scales were tough as well. Ada and Tang Ao were beaten black and blue. Later, Tang Ao concentrated on attacking the blood python's eyes and finally killed it. After this battle, Tang Ao's clothes were torn to pieces. His chest, which was hit by the snake's tail, was aching. Ada was not as good as Tang Ao. After being hit by the snake's head, he vomited blood for a while and was now meditating. Looking at the gradually darkening jungle, Tang Ao thought for a while, "You guys take the blood python and black tiger back first. I'll search again to see if I can find anything else. No. It's too dangerous to leave you here alone. Although I don't have much ability, I will never abandon my teammate. After all, we are a team." He Lin immediately rejected Tang Ao's proposal. Tang Ao's heart warmed. "I really didn't misjudge you," but he still insisted on his opinion. "When I was still in the third celestial layer, I went through this kind of jungle alone, but didn't I come back alive? I'm fast enough. You guys go back and report the mission first. I'll catch up with you guys after searching for a while." Ada nodded in agreement. Young Master Tang is right. It's already the final moment. Young Master, don't be emotional. Alright then. He Lin frowned and thought for a long time before agreeing to Tang Ao's decision. "Young Master Tang, be careful. If there's nothing else, I'll go back." "Young Master, don't worry too much. I'll take my leave first." Tang Ao bade farewell and disappeared into the boundless forest with a leap. After bidding farewell to the two, Tang Ao sped up. The hidden jade body in stone's characteristics concealed Tang Ao's aura. In addition, Tang Ao was very careful. He didn't startle the strange beasts when he passed through their territories. The trees were so fast that they almost formed a line. They were left far behind by Tang Ao. Not long later, Tang Ao arrived at the foot of Mount Heavenly Cloud. Mount Heavenly Cloud pierced through the clouds. From the bottom to the top, the vegetation became sparser. "I hope I can meet the sky cloud-piercing snake here," Tang Ao murmured to himself. His figure flashed and jumped to the top of Mount Heavenly Cloud. The sky cloud-piercing snake liked cold. It lived in the highest part of Mount Heavenly Cloud. Ordinary people couldn't see it. Tang Ao followed the description in the book and went straight to the top of Mount Heavenly Cloud to capture the snake. The higher he went, the lower the temperature and the thinner the air. Fortunately, Tang Ao had the hidden jade body in stone. Otherwise, he would have fainted halfway up the mountain due to lack of oxygen. After some time, Tang Ao got rid of the thick clouds and saw the top of Mount Heavenly Cloud. "Phew! I'm finally here." On a relatively flat place at the top of the mountain, Tang Ao sat down and meditated to adjust his breath. He was ready to go down the mountain and run back to Waterbead City. "Ouch! You're hurting me." Tang Ao was shocked. Who's talking?" He looked around but didn't find anyone. "I'm below you. Ouch, it hurts. Why are you so heavy?" The voice came again, clear and sweet like a child's. "Damn!" Tang Ao found the source of the voice under his butt and jumped up in shock. "Why are you under my butt? You can talk?" A silver-white snake wriggled and floated in the air. This immortal has lived for so long, of course, I can talk. Heavens, a strange beast can only speak human language when it reaches the spirit sea realm. I actually met a strange beast of the spirit sea realm. It's over, it's over. Tang Ao was annoyed. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have gone to look for the sky-piercing snake. The silver-white snake seemed to see Tang Ao's fear and said with dissatisfaction, "Are you afraid? Is this immortal so scary? Humph. If you dare to run, believe it or not, this immortal will kill you immediately. Vicious, decisive, courageous, and not the slightest bit sloppy." Tang Ao slowly turned around, looking like he was going to fight for his life. "I'm telling you, don't mess around. At worst, I'll fight to the death with you." The sky-piercing snake danced and spun around Tang Ao. This immortal is bored to death. Just play with this immortal for a while." Tang Ao immediately refused. "That won't do. I still have to look for the sky-piercing snake. My friend is still waiting for me to go back and save him." The silver-white snake spun around and laughed happily. "You don't need to look for me. I'm the sky-piercing snake. You play with me first. When you're done, I'll send you back. Open a hole and jump in. With a whoosh, you'll be there. It'll be very fast. Damn. You can wear out iron shoes in fruitless searching, but you'll find it by chance. Alright, I'll play with you. Remember to go back with me." Tang Ao was shocked again. His luck was too good. He could sit on a sky-piercing snake, and it could even talk. Tang Ao helplessly played with the sky-piercing snake. This sky-piercing snake had the mind of a child, and was very easy to coax. Not long after, it was in full swing with Tang Ao. Actually, the snake that Tang Ao met was a sky-piercing snake king. Because it went out to play, it accidentally ate an immortal herb. Its spiritual wisdom was greatly increased, but its personality was like a child's. It was very playful and mischievous. On the other hand, He Lin and Ada flew towards Waterbead City. It was already dusk. If the last wisp of cloud in the sky disappeared, it would mean the end of the competition. Hyuenza led his team back to the West Gate. Outside the West Gate, a huge crowd had already gathered. Some even sat there and waited for an entire afternoon. The old city lord, He Feng Yuan, was carried out by the crowd to witness the birth of the new city lord with his citizens. The scout saw 5 people coming from half a mile away. He shouted to the crowd, "Eldest young master Hyuenza has arrived." The crowd cheered and shouted the name of the eldest young master. He Feng Yuan, who still had one breath left, even coughed happily. "Ninth young master Hyuenchao has arrived." The scout's voice rang through the crowd again. The crowd cheered again. 11th young master Hyueni has arrived. Every time a young master returned, the crowd would cheer and give him the warmest welcome and celebration. At this time, the sun was still hanging above the mountain. It was still a hair away from nightfall. Where's 17th young master? Someone in the crowd asked with concern. "TSK. 17th young master is a coward. Maybe he doesn't even dare to enter the periphery of the Cloud Mountains." Someone looked down on He Lin and sneered. "That's right. Even with the help of someone like Tang Ao, he's still a pile of mud." 17th young master has arrived. He Lin brought Ada to the West Gate. Different from the previous 3 young masters, there were only sparse cheers. He Lin expressed his gratitude to those cheering people in a polite manner. 17th young master, where's young master Tang? Did he abandon you because you're too lousy? That's right. I think that's the case. He Lin was a little annoyed, but his expression didn't change. He replied in a clear voice, "Young Master Tang is a scarlet core. How could he abandon me? He just has something to do. He'll be back soon." Chapter 105. Hearing this, He Lin was a little anxious. "Judge, please wait for a moment. I still have a teammate who has not returned. There is still 15 minutes before the sky turns dark. Please wait a little longer. At the judge's seat, a few old men whispered to each other. All right, we will start counting the prey in 15 minutes. Thank you, Judge. The other 3 young masters sneered as they looked at He Lin, who was waiting at the west gate. Some of the people they brought were also mocking and ridiculing them. Young Master, will young Master Tang? Ada hinted from the side. He looked worried as he worried about Tang Ao's safety. Don't talk nonsense. He Lin's face turned fierce. Young Master Tang is very skilled and lucky. He will be fine. We have to believe in him. At this moment, there was still a ray of sunlight shining on the horizon. Young Master 17, if he is still not here, we will start now. Don't waste everyone's time. The head judge stood up and reminded. He Yuanchao sneered. He probably thinks that you are too weak and have no backbone at all. He ran away long ago. Only you are still waiting here like a fool. The eldest young master, He Yuanza, walked over and patted his shoulder. He sighed and said, Don't wait any more, old 17. Let's start. No. Wait a little longer. Young Master Tang is coming back soon. He Lin shouted anxiously. A trace of obsession in his heart told him that Tang Ao would definitely come back. Everyone started to walk towards the Qianquan arena. The crowd was like a tide. Soon, the area outside the West City became empty again. Only He Lin was still waiting in the West City. He seemed to be disappointed and resentful. Ha ha, I am back. When the last ray of sunset light disappeared from the mountain, Tang Ao's figure slowly descended from the sky above Water Pearl City. Young Master Tang. He Lin was so excited that he almost cried. He wiped his eyes and ran towards the Qianquan arena. Ha ha ha, I ran into a small matter. Sorry to keep you waiting. Tang Ao still had a casual look on his face. He did not care about his tattered clothes and scabs. Good. Since everyone is here, let's start the calculation. Young masters, please hand in your spoils. He Yuanza walked onto the Yinyang arena first and took out his spoils from his storage ring. 1 body refining realm 8th tier Dan heart raging wave ape, 100,000 silver tails. Body refining realm 9th tier mutated beast, winter purple electric python, price 300,000 tails. First level of the origin realm, 1-star jade flow monkey, 1 million silver coins. Young Master Yuan Zhe, the total amount of prey you've obtained this time is 1,400,000 taels. The head judge announced Yuan Zhe's final result. 1,400,000 taels is enough for 3 generations of my descendants to live a comfortable life. As expected of the eldest young master. There are so many capable people under him. It's not a problem for him to hunt some small prey. As He Yuanza listened to the crowd's discussion, the corner of his mouth unconsciously curled up. Second young master. 9th young master He Yuanchao. He Yuanchao handed over the storage ring to the referee and stood beside He Yuanza with a dark expression. Body refinement realm 7th tier strange beast, heavenly fine-scaled bear, price 70,000 taels. Body refinement realm 9th tier strange beast, celestial extreme green shadow centipede, price 300,000 taels. 9th origin realm 9th tier strange beast, tri-sun red brocade eagle, price 300,000 taels. Young Master Yuanchao, the total is 670,000 taels. Hearing this number, He Yuanchao's face was so dark that it was about to drip water. Originally, if the elder of the Heavenly Moon sect did not want to assassinate Tang Ao and ended up missing, then tonight's result would not be any worse than He Yuanza's. Perhaps it would even be 1 to 200,000 taels higher. Thinking to there, He Yuanchao specially glanced at Tang Ao and discovered that he was leisurely looking at him. He was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Third, 11th young master He Yuani. 9th Heaven Thousand Scion Mountain Panther, price 300,000 taels. Well, it's a ninth heaven beast from the start. Young Master Yuan Yi's team's strength is extraordinary. He's probably the only one who can compete with young Master Yuan Zhe. The judge continued to count. Ninth heaven ice edge soul devouring mink, price 300,000 taels. First origin realm strange beast, heavenly cloud mystic tortoise, price 1,000,000 taels. Young Master Yuan Yi, total price 1,600,000 taels. The crowd burst into an uproar again. 1,600,000 taels. That's 200,000 taels higher than young Master Yuan Zhe. The position of City Lord belongs to young Master Yuan Yi. Don't worry, there's still one more. Someone reminded. That good for nothing, I don't even need to look to know that he's going to be last. That's right. Look at his cowardly appearance, he's definitely going to be last. Don't even think about it. Silence. The head judge's dignified voice covered the entire arena. Let's welcome the fourth young Master Lin. Ah? It's my turn? Lin was just in a daze. He did not know what was going on when he was suddenly called. Why are you in a daze? Let's go, I'll go with you. Tang Ao patted his shoulder and the two of them entered the universe ring together. After handing over the storage ring, Tang Ao leaned on his palm and hummed an unknown tune as he strolled around the universe ring, as if it was his own backyard. Ninth Heaven 9 Absolute Mystic Tiger, price 300,000 taels. Whoa! Young Master Lin's first beast is actually a ninth heaven mutated beast. Humph. He's just lucky to encounter a dying mutated beast. Someone disapproved and sneered. But they were ruthlessly slapped in the face by the judge's following bid. Ninth Heaven Crimson Moon Blood Python, 300,000 taels. Two Ninth Heaven mutated beasts. The same result as young Master E. I didn't expect him to be a dark horse. What's the hurry? Didn't you see that he only has two mutated beasts? He's still at the bottom. Young Master Lin's result is 60. Wait a minute. Tang Ao interrupted the judge's announcement and said to his sleeve, "Come out." A small silver snake drilled out from Tang Ao's sleeve and curiously circled around. Suddenly, it saw many people looking at him with dumbfounded expressions and actually shyly hid behind Tang Ao. It's a space-piercing snake. I didn't expect the legend to be true. Space-piercing snake. It's actually a space-piercing snake. Young Master Lin actually caught the space-piercing snake. Legend has it that the space-piercing snake likes to travel through space to search for treasures. It can bring wealth and good luck to people. With the space-piercing snake, young Master Lin will be the next city lord. Our good days are here. Young Master Lin. Young Master Lin. Young Master Lin. The crowd below the stage shouted excitedly. Some even raised their arms and cheered, expressing their willingness to support young Master Lin. Yuan's expression changed slightly, then he smiled and nodded his head in praise. On the other hand, Yuan, who was originally going to win, was disrupted by Tang Ao's small snake. He angrily looked at the space-piercing snake that was playing with Tang Ao and wished that he could tear it apart alive. Old City Lord Feng Yuan was so excited that tears flowed down his face. I didn't expect that I would be able to see the space-piercing snake in my lifetime. I have no regrets in this life. This is the heaven cloud-piercing snake. The judge pointed at the small snake behind Tang Ao in surprise. Come, let us take a look. Tang Ao pulled the space-piercing snake out from behind him and touched its smooth back. Go! Let them take a look. So, everyone only saw a ripple in the air, and the space-piercing snake disappeared. When it reappeared, it was already at the judge's seat. The judge was so excited that his old hands were trembling. A few judges came in front of the space-piercing snake and wanted to take a closer look. They touched it and were so excited that they forgot their status for a moment. The space-piercing snake didn't seem to like being stared at by so many old men. It shuttled back and forth again before returning to Tang Ao's sleeve and sleeping soundly. May I know what is the cultivation of this little friend's space-piercing snake? Let this old man make a judgment of its value. The judge calmed himself down and asked. Tang Ao curled his lips. The judge should know how precious the space-piercing snake is. As for cultivation, do you think it's important? This is reasonable. This judge shall announce the result of 17th young Master Lin. 600,000 taels and a priceless space-piercing snake. Wow! The crowd was excited again. Firstly, they had seen a legendary beast, and secondly, they were about to witness the birth of a new castellan. The new castellan would bring new prosperity to the city. After a long time, the judge announced the result. After a careful discussion with a few judges, we have decided to appoint He Lin as the next castellan of Water Pearl City. The castellan will control 9 trade routes. 11th young master He Yuanyi will control 3 trade routes as his salary. Eldest young master He Yuanza will control 2 trade routes as his salary, and 9th young master will control 1 trade route as his salary. Today, in order to celebrate the new castellan's ascension, the whole city will set off fireworks, hold a lantern show, and set up a banquet. The whole city will celebrate through the night. Below the Qianquan arena, there was a tsunami of applause. Everyone cheered and ran around to spread the news. At this time, Tang Ao let out a deep breath. Phew! It's finally done. When I go back, I will ask old Lin to compensate me. Brother Tang. He Lin walked over and said, He Lin thanks Brother Tang. I will never forget your help in this life. He Lin almost cried as he said that. He was born of a concubine, and his mother's status was low. He did not plan to fight for the castellan's position, and just wanted to spend his life in peace. He did not expect to meet Tang Ao. Not only did he amaze the world at the Qianquan arena, he taught He Yuanjun a harsh lesson, and he also defeated everyone at the hunting meet to help him win the castellan's position. To meet such a person in one's life, one should be satisfied. Tang Ao coughed. I am not completely selfless. You know, I am a disciple of the 7 Kills sect. I am here to help you expand the territory of the sect. This rule. Tang Ao did not say anything else. Otherwise, it would hurt the feelings of being in the same boat for the past few days. He Lin was a smart person, he understood immediately. Of course I will not forget this. Today, I only want to invite Brother Tang to drink to your heart's content. Of course. Drinking is my favorite. The whole city spent the night in revelry, and the lights were lit up the whole night. Early the next morning, Tang Ao packed his luggage and embarked on his return journey. Chapter 106. On the night before the return journey, the head judge asked Tang Ao to meet up with him. He took out a bunch of pills, cultivation techniques, and godly weapons to exchange for Tang Ao's space-piercing snake. How could Tang Ao be willing? Furthermore, this thing had its own intelligence. It only treated Tang Ao as a friend. It did not sign a soul contract with the head judge, so how could it exchange with the head judge? After 2 days of trekking, Tang Ao finally saw the 7 Kills sect's mountain gate. Phew! I'm finally back. I must make old Lin pay for this. I risked my life to take down the most complicated city. If he doesn't give me a few thousand contribution points, I will pull his beard one by one. Tang Ao thought bitterly. As soon as he entered the sect, Tang Ao went to Lin Jiang's elders' hall. I'm back. Old Lin, where's your reward? Lin Jiang was in the middle of a discussion with a few other elders. When he was suddenly called by Tang Ao, he jumped in fright. He glared at the mischievous Tang Ao and said, Can't you be gentler? I almost lost half of my life because of you. Tang Ao shamelessly walked in front of Lin Jiang and said, The mission is completed. Other than the secret manual that I didn't bring back, I successfully supported a young master to become the city lord. You just need to send a few people to collect it." Then, he waved his hand as if he was asking for a debt. The other elders looked at each other in confusion. "What do you mean?" Lin Jiang didn't understand. Tang Ao immediately became anxious. "Don't act like a fool in front of me. Didn't we agree? I'll take down the Water Pearl City, so you will give me contribution points." The few elders laughed. Lin Jiang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Fine, fine, fine. I'll give. Take this token and go to the exchange point to get 2,000 contribution points." "That's more like it." Tang Ao snatched the token and walked towards the exchange point happily. "Wait." Lin Jiang reached out and stopped Tang Ao. His expression turned serious. "The Outer Sect Disciple Assessment is in a month. The Outer Sect disciples with outstanding results will be chosen to enter the Inner Sect. You have to prepare in advance. If you don't get first place, don't come back to see me." Inner Sect Disciple Assessment. Tang Ao heard Lin Jiang's words and thought for a while. What realm is Yun Shui at now? Since it was an Outer Sect Disciple Assessment, Tang Ao had to fully understand his opponent. Since it was an Outer Sect Disciple Assessment, Tang Ao had to understand his opponent well of the Lin Pearl. When she was at the fifth firmament, she was already a genius who had awakened 4 life souls. Tang Ao himself only had 2 life souls, one at the fifth firmament and one at the 9th firmament. Their quality was far inferior to Yun Shui's 3 8th firmament and 1 9th firmament life soul. You actually at of the 9th realm, I of Yun at of spirits. Tian of Shun of Pearl, of Yun of realm. You actually reached of the 9th realm. Lin Jiang probed with his consciousness and jumped in shock. The other elders were also shocked at Tang Ao's flying speed of advancement. In the blink of an eye, he had risen by 2 realms. "It's nothing. Tang Ao was embarrassed by these old men. "Quick, tell me, what realm is Senior Yun Shui at now?" Lin Jiang squinted his eyes in admiration. "You are the same as her. You are both dragons and phoenixes. Your cultivation speed makes others blush with shame. Yun Shui is already of the 8th realm. She just went into seclusion a few days ago to prepare for the Outer Sect Disciple Assessment. 8th realm." Even though Tang Ao was a little prepared, he was still quite shocked. He had gone through life and death training to reach the 9th realm. He went to the primordial forest to be chased by Origin Realm beasts. He went to Water Pearl City to be chased by Origin Realm assassins. Yet, there was actually someone in the sect who could achieve the same results as him. There was no justice. Comparisons are odious. Tang Ao struggled for a long time, but in the end, he helplessly sighed. His hidden jade and stone body could only be seen in the later stages. It was just like its name. What he needed to do now was to accumulate. He needed to keep accumulating and accumulating again. Got it. I'll go exchange my contribution points first. After that, I'll go into seclusion. This senior is going to reach the heavenly muddy stage, so how can I lose to a little girl? Tang Ao left a few words and hurriedly left. This brat. Lin Jiang laughed and scolded. Everyone, who do you think will be first in this Outer Sect Disciple Assessment? The elders fell into silence. The two are evenly matched. It's not easy to compare. Yeah. The two of them are outstanding in the Outer Sect. Unless they really fight, it's not easy to compare. Lin Jiang stroked his beard. Interesting. This year's disciple assessment seems to be very lively. On the way, Tang Ao met many familiar people. For example, the beauty Zhao who he bullied. Pervert. You. When Zhao Shui saw Tang Ao, she blurted out the word pervert. Thinking that it was wrong, she immediately changed her words. Senior brother Tang, you're back. Tang Ao glared at Zhao Shui. Seeing her change her words, he faintly smiled. You're looking for me? What? We haven't seen each other for a long time. Did you miss me? Zhao Shui's pretty face blushed. She scolded and hurriedly ran away. Tang Ao did not care about what she thought and went straight to the exchange point. He wanted to go to the Martial Skill Pavilion to exchange some things to prepare for the examination in a month. Arriving at the Martial Skill Pavilion, Tang Ao looked at the manager who was dozing off. He walked in and went up to the 4th floor. The last time he came, Tang Ao exchanged for a currently useless 7-kill slaughtering art. This was the 7-kill school's absolute art. Unfortunately, one needed to grasp 7 types of weapon life spirits to study it. Its power was astonishing. Therefore, this time, Tang Ao wanted to exchange for a spear spell so that he could train his 100 battle spear spirit to completion as soon as possible. By then, even if he ran into an origin martial realm warrior, he would still be able to fight back. Wandering Shadow Gold Sword, high-rank origin martial realm martial art. Trained to the extreme, the sword would be like a moving shadow, hard to catch. 500 contribution points. Burning Sky Star Picking Hand. High-rank origin martial realm martial art. Trained to the extreme, one could cover the sky with one hand and burn the stars in the sky. Blue Dragon Shadow Spear, low-rank Sea of Souls realm martial art. Trained to the extreme, the body of the spear would turn into a blue dragon. Wherever it goes, it would be invincible. Blue Dragon Shadow Spear, 700 contribution points. Not bad, right? Tang Ao had his eyes on this spear spell. He did not care how much it would cost, so he exchanged for it right away. Tang Ao suddenly remembered that there was still a space-piercing snake sleeping in his sleeve. I need to exchange for some food to feed this little guy. It has almost unlimited space traveling power, so it would be a great assistant for escaping or chasing. After exchanging, Tang Ao went back to his room and closed his eyes to train. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.